on.
Okay, so forgive my lack of professionalism. We're not actually doing Moosehead Pale Ale tonight. Logistical failure, otherwise known as only me and Greg got the beer this week. So, fuck it, we'll save it for another week.
Hey, but I mean,
Nick was afraid to have a fireside chat with me.
I mean, listen, we could have gone on with a BA 101 where only two people had the fucking beer and everybody else has had like some bullshit that isn't the beer, or they didn't even show up with beer, as some panel shows have done in the past and presently as well, just saying. But we don't do that shit because we don't fuck around. When we do a panel show, we make sure everybody's on fucking point, and that's how much we respect the viewers of our shows. So fuck those other shows. Watch our show because we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing, and we're just better people, and we're not racist and pieces of shit. Just saying.
Now say it again from the top in a Macho Man voice.
Oh yeah, people, listen up. Yeah, we're not doing the fucking Moosehead Pale Ale tonight. No, we're not doing it because too many people didn't have the beer. Yeah, we're not like those other shows where they just show up willy-nilly with any beer they want to take. Listen, if you want to be a professional, you want more than just a little cup of coffee in the spotlight. You gotta be on your game. Yeah, you gotta have the beer, you have to have it ready, and you want to do a show with it. And that didn't happen tonight, so Nick made the call. Yeah, he made the call. Yeah, he said, we're not doing BA 101 tonight. No, we're not doing it. No, we're gonna just do a regular hangout. Yeah, and we're gonna blow your mind, freak out. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, for those of you who are disappointed, I know there's literally hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of you who are disappointed. This just happens to be an unfortunate set of coincidence. We have two panel members that haven't had sex for a while that have recently gotten ladies in their lives. Don't worry. Once the ladies see some of these beer analysis videos, they'll break up with them. They'll be back on here with their buddies drinking because that's just how life works. Then we have two panel members who are working tonight. Don't worry. Once their bosses see these Beer Analysis 101 videos, they'll get fired. They'll be back on here drinking with their friends. So don't worry. This is just a temporary setback of people just accomplishing something in life, and we're gonna send these videos out shortly to make sure that anything they've accomplished gets just torn right.
Once they get fired from their jobs for being on Beer Analysis 101, they can collect some EI money and buy their own beer again.
Right. Once they get fired, and once the happy people become single again and miserable, that's when beer comes to give you a hug.
That's right. BA 101 is built on misery, baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my wife also points out that also if the significant others don't break up, then they'll get married and just learn to ignore each other, like I do with my lovely princess over there.
Peaceful coexistence.
Who just bought herself a hairnet for some reason.
Just treat her like Miss Elizabeth. Yeah. Just tell her to stand there and look pretty. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just stand there and look pretty.
Yeah, damn, this is actually tasting really nice tonight. I'm drinking it on the dude.
Really look and acknowledge me.
Also, tell her, if Hulk Hogan comes around, don't you start talking to him. No, just keep away from Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Hey, if Hulk Hogan comes around, you don't be talking to Hulk Hogan. You stick with the Macho Man.
What the fuck?
That's right. Yeah. Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
it's an 80s-ish wrestling reference that I don't even totally get. By the way, your beer's getting warm.
Thank you.
She's looking at me like, what the fuck?
Tell you, Hulk Hogan tried to steal my woman. Yeah. Yeah, jealous eyes.
Here, babe, listen.
Dear God.
These amazing impressions.
Oh, the huge manatee.
Are you the huge manatee, Nick? Is that your new nickname?
I don't even know what.
Oh, the humanity. Anyway, just go.
Fuck, what even was that?
Oh, the humanity. Oh, the huge manatee. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's not as funny when you have to explain it. We have comments, by the way.
Do we? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
We already got comments. Oh, fuck.
This is Eric Gilbert. It says, and what the hell am I going to do with this pale ale? Well,
we're still going to do it at some point. So
you take the bottle like this and put your hand on top of it, grip it, and there you go. Open it up and just
Nick, not everyone can get 100 of those like you do. Some people, it's precious.
Yeah, Craig says he can do it next week if we still have it. So there we go.
I was actually thinking like we had already decided what we were going to do a beer for next week. Should we do that beer or do pale ale next week?
Well, what was going to be next week?
Well, I think the question we have to ask, and we'll perhaps ask this offline at some point, is can the people who couldn't get it this week or were too late getting it this week, can they actually get it next week, or will they get it next week? Because Lee, I don't know, can you actually get it in a single at another store, or you should?
No, I'm not going to be in any other store. Like I just don't have access to other stores right now.
Yeah, you literally live like 50 kilometers away from the nearest NSLC, right?
See, if they started selling beer at Sobeys, that'd be really convenient for you.
Oh, I would so love that. Oh my god, I'd be so happy.
I don't know. I guess it's something we can discuss offline. Do we want to do this one next week or try it again? I've already got the history written up, but also we're getting into December, and I was thinking we could have some high ABV beers in December.
I mean, if we want to do Moosehead next week, I could show up for it. I will buy a 12-pack and just give like 11 of them to my brother. Hopefully he'll be feeling better next week where he can actually drink beer. So I'll give him like 11 of those. But
your brother?
Oh no, he's been super fucking sick the last little while. So
well, then make a deal. He'll buy you a 12-pack of St. Bernardus 12, and he'll give you 11 of them.
I can't even get this anymore. Greg can.
What can I get?
I think you can get this in singles still, can't you?
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of odd because they have the 6-packs. The singles are kind of hardish to get. Like you sort of have to go out of your way to get them, whereas almost every LCBO has the 6-packs. It's been that way for the last few years. Where it used to be you could get St. Bernard's 12 at every single LCBO, and now you can get the 6-pack at every LCBO, and you kind of have to go searching for the 12s.
What's the price of a 6-pack of St. Bernardus?
It's 21 or 22, I believe.
Ooh, that's brilliant.
And then I think this.
What's bottle size?
It's 330s.
It's
not a great price. You're basically
it's not.
It's at least a better use of your money than the winter beer from Muskoka.
I fully agree on that. And you know what? They pretty much sell out of them every single year, so they're not there. Bad price or no, it seems enough people buy them. So
did you actually buy a winter beer, Nick?
I was looking at it. It showed up here. It's $15 a fucking bottle.
Don't
do it if we want to do a beer analysis, but it doesn't sound like anybody does.
It's not worth it. Don't do it.
Well, like I say, Nick, I will buy it if you decide to do a beer analysis on it, but I will grumble about it all evening.
Yeah, I will hate on you, Nick, if we do a beer analysis. I will buy one. I can actually buy one, but I'll hate on you for it.
See, that actually changes things if you guys would actually buy it. But
I would buy it. I just wouldn't be happy.
I think the worry I have is that nobody would show up, kind of like tonight.
No, it's not a good beer. It really isn't. It's an overpriced.
No, I wouldn't like it either. To be honest, I've had it before, and it's not that I think it's bad. I just think it's so lackluster that it's really not worth it for the price.
You know what? If I could buy it in a
$5 beer.
If I could, I was gonna say if I could buy it in a can for around $4, I'd still think it's a lackluster beer. But I'd be like, okay, whatever, it's reasonably priced. But they have to do it in their fancy. And I mean, keep in mind that beer only a few years ago was, I believe, an $8 or $9 beer, and they've just jacked the price on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it used to be like I think it was like $10 at one point here when that was considered steep. And what is it? Is it cellar aged this year? Like
I don't believe so. No, what Muskoka used to do, I might be wrong about this because I don't keep up with the Muskoka lore, but I believe what it used to be like an $8 or $9 bottle fresh, and then they started doing it. Oh well, now we're gonna bring out at the LCBO. You can get the fresh one. And then you can get the aged one at the brewery, and the brewery one's a couple bucks more expensive.
Right. Yeah.
Then what they started doing is they swapped it up, where you could only get the aged one at the LCBO for like $12. Mm-hmm. Oh, you want the fresh one? You got to drive all the way up to buttfuck nowhere.
Yeah.
To buy it at the brewery, and then they just started just said F it. I don't even think they do the cellar aged one anymore. I think
Yeah.
they just give you the fresh one,
Like
charge you
the
15
one
bucks
I
for
took a
it.
picture of the one at ANBL, and it doesn't even say anything on the package.
No, I don't think it's cellar aged
Cellar
anymore.
aged.
I think they.
Does it
I
say
think
like
it's just their way of
2016
just
vintage or some shit?
worming their way up. And you know what? It's it's got a fancy box. It's got a fancy bottle. Like, you know what, Muskoka? Like, you can your other shit. Like, why don't you just can that? Charge $4 for it.
Well, it's like, especially like Spring Oddity, they can that shit and sell it as a normal beer now.
Yeah,
Spring
and
Oddity,
I think it's a really solid beer. I would like
Yeah.
to do it if we can do
Because
it.
you got to kind of figure half the price for Muskoka Winter Beard at this point is just the packaging in the bottle.
Well, I remember the
One of
Muskoka
the worst
used
values
to.
in Ontario beer right now.
Well, you used to have the 4 Muskoka seasonals. You had the Spring Oddity, the Summer Vice, the Harvest Ale, and the Winter Beard. All of them used to be in 750s and really expensive. And now 3 of them are in cans. The only one that is still, they insist on doing that, is Winter Beard. Because I guess they figure more people are willing to spend money in the holidays or whatever. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's kind of the thing, but
and here's the thing, Muskoka, they're not, I don't think they're an awful brewery. They do make some good things, but they're not a great brewery either. And they're not at the point where I feel they can be justify selling $15 beers, let alone $15, which I think is just a regular porter, a regular stout. I think it's like 8%, 8.5%. Like, come on, like I'll happily pay $15 for a Bellwoods beer, like Bring Out Your Dead, but guess what? That's higher ABV. It's barrel aged and it's Bellwoods, regardless of how they may not be as great as they once were. They've still built a name for themselves. So
yeah, no, Muskoka is middle of the road. Like, let's be honest, Muskoka is very much middle of the road.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're not. They don't do really anything shitty. I mean, they're not any like an A plus or a AAA brewery in my opinion. They're just a decent Ontario.
They're one of those
within-
breweries. If I see they've got a new can out, even though cans nowadays are stupid overpriced for often what beer is in them, but if I see a can that's available for $3.50 from Muskoka, I'll be like, I'll try this. Why not?
It's like a notch above Lake of Bays, basically.
Maybe 2 notches above Lake of Bays.
All right, fine.
But again, the further north you get, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, no offense to Redbeard, but the further north you get, the further basically people up there just don't give a shit about what beer they drink. Like, you're basically just trying to get them to buy your stuff instead of Budweiser's. So
It's basically getting to the point where you're competing for the best local beer, but yeah, it gets distributed down to your area. But there's so much more competition in like Toronto.
well, yeah, Toronto's a very
Titans
different
like
crowd.
Bellwood's fighting it out with some of the other ones out there.
Well, but Toronto, you also have a combination of people that live in their parents' basement that just have unlimited money because they live in their parents' basement, so they buy all the beer. Or you have actually legitimately affluent people that also can afford to buy all the beer. So they're the ones that are willing to buy these stupidly overpriced.
Cost of living is so
Imperial stouts and
expensive in
shit.
Toronto. It's just like when I lived in Calgary, it was like this when the cost of living is so high out there that yes, you make more money to buy all the odds and ends. Like beer is, by comparison to what you make versus what it costs to live out there, that beer is much more cheaper and affordable to fit into your extras area than it would be in in some other areas. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, but
can I read some comments and then I'm going to
Go for it.
grab a beer? Okay, so Rating on Your Parade says no Moosehead Pale Ale in Portland, Maine at this present time. Think it was around a few years back. Craig says that's cool too, as far as doing Moosehead later on. Eric Gilbert says Moosehead Pale Ale is better than glass, which I totally agree with. I mean, that's kind of standard for any beer, really, as far as I'm concerned. Eric Gilbert also says Muskoka Cream Ale and call it a day. So there you go.
Muskoka Cream Ale is pretty decent.
You know what beer I actually enjoy from Muskoka is the Muskoka Craft Lager. I think for what it is, now again, overpriced for what it is, but I think it's a perfectly decent tasting lager, and they don't over flavor it like a lot of lagers, like a lot of craft lagers do. They don't over hop it. It's just a very easy, very clean drinking beer with enough flavor that it's interesting. If they just made it a little cheaper, then I think it would be more of a go-to for me. But I think it's more expensive than Steam Whistle is, or around the same price, and it's not as good as Steam Whistle. In my opinion, since I know not everyone here is a fan.
Well, Steam Whistle's not bad. Steam Whistle, yeah,
I
I'm
love
gonna
me
say
some
Steam
Steam
Whistle is
Whistle.
better than the Craft Lager from Muskoka, but the Craft Lager and the cream ale from Muskoka are actually pretty good, especially considering usually cream ales are shit. But they do a decent job on some of their stuff, and you know what? I don't mind a fresh can of like Mad Tom or Twice as Mad Tom or their Chinook
Well,
Stout. I actually
well, you know.
Sorry.
Oh, the Chinook or whatever. Well, you know what? Mad Time is a classic. It's kind of hard to say no to that, but at the same time, I mean, it's not really a particularly exciting beer nowadays. It sort of just is what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, they make some beers that are, I would just say you call it decent. I wouldn't call it anything that you to write home about. If you were going to go up to Ontario, and you're not from Ontario, if you're going to go to Ontario and pick up something to bring home, Muskoka's not it.
I got a question for you, Nick. If you legitimately just saw something really exciting, that like the best beer in the world, would you legitimately pick up a pen and write home about it? Because I don't think you
I
would.
would pick up my phone, take a picture, and post it on Untapped if I tried it.
Okay. I'm just poking fun that it's no one really writes home about it.
Nobody writes home with a pen anymore. It's
Yeah.
a figure of speech.
I know, Nick. I'm just poking holes in your empire.
Yeah, right. Well,
anyways, for anyone that cares what I'm about to drink, I had a Steam Whistle to warm my palate up. Now I'm going to have 2 vintages of St. Bernardus Pater 6. One is from there. Here we go.
Live
One
beer
is
burglar review.
That's right. Well, I'm going to pour them, so I'm going to go off camera.
So what year Pater 6 is this?
Okay, so I've got a 2016 and a 2018, so super fresh and 2 years old.
Gotcha.
So we will see. Now with the wit, I actually found there was a huge difference between the two, and the 2-year-old one was way better than the fresh one.
Really?
We'll see if
because I don't think a wit beer is really meant for cellaring.
Well, but supposedly all these are, because all these are apparently bottle aged. They throw a little yeast at the bottom or something. So supposedly they actually recommend. I think they actually recommend cellaring these guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I bought one of those packs a couple of years ago, and I think it was like another one I got like 2015 maybe, and I've got a bottle or two from that pack left. I'm pretty sure I have the Watu Triple left. I'm not sure if I drank my Pater 6 or not.
Well, I think the higher ABV you get, the better they're going to cellar.
Yeah,
I myself was personally surprised how well the wheat beer did cellar, because I've cellared Chimay White, which I know is not a wheat beer, but I think it's a sort of lower ABV Belgian beer, and I've never been impressed with how that beer ages. But
yeah, I think the white is supposed to be their triple.
Yeah, well, I've always found it didn't age very well. Hold on 1 second.
And I've got like a couple. I've got like 4 bottles of the 330 ml bottles of white. They're from 2015.
Yeah, a few years ago, I bought a whole bunch of Chimay Blue, Rochefort 8, Rochefort 10, 10. So I've still got a few bottles kicking around of those. I have not been impressed with. Actually, of the 4, I found the Chimay Blue actually ages the best. And I was not impressed with the Chimay White. And the Rochefort 8 and the Rochefort 10 are both pretty good too. But the Chimay Blue, for some reason, just ages the best for me. Or at least
yeah, well, was it Lee? He did an aging experiment. Is Lee still there?
I think he's getting a beer right now.
Anyway, I remember, was it back when he did beer reviews? There was he did like an aging experiment with Chimay Bleu, and I think he had like beers that he had saved from like 2012, 2013, or fuck, I can't remember. It was longer than that.
Nick, I just want to make it clear that he still does beer reviews. He's still the king. He's just taking a little break, and he deserves the break. But he'll be back better than ever doing beer reviews, showing us how things are done.
Anyway.
I'm sorry, Nick, if you wanted his crown, but you just can't have it.
I'll look it up. Probably spelled Chimay, right?
I think it's EA, or is it AY or EY? I can't remember.
Holy shit. You know you feel old when you see that Lee had done his Chimay Grand Reserve review in 2009.
Wah, wah, wah,
Wah,
wah.
wah. It is an excellent beer, though. Chimay. Chimay. There you go. He did vlog. He was doing a cellaring experiment back in 2009. And I remember watching, he did like one every year or something, just to see how much better it aged. I'm by myself. Are there any comments, by the way? All right. Let me see here. Basement Beer says, cheers, cool cats. Have a good... I can't read the rest for some reason. Is it zoomed in too much? Anyway, good day, Jamie. How you doing? Anyway, to let everybody know why exactly I'm sitting here talking to myself about Chimay is me and Greg were just talking about Chimay. And Lee, a while ago, had done a thing on where he had bought a whole bunch of beers in 2008, 2009, a bunch of Chimays, and did a vertical taste. Well, not necessarily a vertical tasting, just an experiment in cellaring. And I always see this series he did as the reason why I started cellaring beers of my own, because I always thought the idea of aging beer seemed interesting, because if it tastes better a couple of years out. So he did one where he bought it originally in 2009. Back, you can see where he did his review 9 years ago, back when he used to do beer reviews. And he did 4 parts. So it was recently as 6 years ago, so about 2012, I'm assuming. He did the 4th part. And I think it was the peak was around 3 years. But yeah, Chimay, especially in the cork bottles, lasts a while. Now I've got about 6 or 7. Oh, Greg's going. I've got about 6 or 7 bottles, like not the big cork 750s. I've got. What happened there, Greg?
I don't know what the hell happened. I left, and all of a sudden I came back, and one of my podcasts on my iPad was playing, and then it just disconnected me. That was weird. That was really
weird.
weird.
He just sort of disappeared. He isn't back yet. I was just sort of talking to myself about. Here's the thing about like that Lee did a while ago. You can see where he did like three parts of a Chimay series where he kept the 2008 bottles or 9 bottles or something, and drank one every year. That's part of it, a cellaring experiment to see, okay, is it better? Is it better? Is it better? And I think it peaked around 3 years. But I've got like 6 or 7 bottles of Chimay Blue, but they're the 330 milliliter bottles, and because they're under crown caps, I had one a week or 2 ago, and the top, it's almost seemed like the very part of the beer was kind of oxidized, but the most of the beer was absolutely delicious. And I think it's really starting. They're getting to that point, and I don't think they age quite as well in capped bottles than they do in cork bottles. Like if you want to cellar these, it's the best idea to get the ones in corks.
I don't know. In my experience, even beers that are in cans age okay. I mean, maybe I've never done head to head, but I mean, they always seem to do a good job.
Cans are pretty susceptible or pretty impervious to oxidization, but like the crown caps, like the metal caps, don't hold as well as a cork or a can, I find.
Yeah, but it's not always oxidation that makes something change flavor. It's just sometimes it's just literally the age.
Be the batch. I don't know. I had a 3-year-old bottle of Chimay recently, and I just thought it wasn't that. And even the side of the bottle said that it was like they have like a 5-year best before date on the side. Even the side of the bottle said that it was still good. But it was just kind of weird. It had that little touch of taste and a little stale, and part of the beer, like the first few sips of the beer were and then it started getting real tasty. Well, how's your Patter 6 turning out?
Well, I'll tell you, the one that's 2 years old is, again, it's kind of seems to develop extra flavors. Like the fresh one is still to me like very strong, kind of grapey, kind of dark fruit taste to it.
Yeah.
Whereas the one that's 2 year old 2 years old to me kind of has more of a, it kind of picks up a bit of a more sweet chocolate taste to it, like maybe some candy sugar, maybe chocolate, maybe some hidden banana there,
Yeah.
but the banana not so much visible. I think in this case, I actually might prefer the fresh one because I kind of like it when there's sort of a dark fruit kind of taste to these Belgian beers. But
Stronger, or rapier kind of thing, right?
yeah, exactly.
That's the
but
kind of thing that mellows off when the
yeah,
the,
and that
the punch that it has kind of.
well, yeah, and that's exactly it. It has mellowed off after 2 years. I mean, I guess it just comes down to what your personal preference is because I'm not a big. I mean, someone's gonna. If Jamie saw these, totally gonna gift that. Anyways, no,
Do
it's
it.
oh, he will. I don't know. Like, I'm not a big fan of chocolate, especially chocolate in my beers. So I kind of think the fresh one in this case is better. But you know what? It's still getting warmer. We're still sipping, so we'll find out how it is.
Oh, and to Eric Gilbert's comment about Moosehead Pale Ale being better out of a glass, he's right.
Well, most beers are better out of a glass. Wow.
Right.
Most
Yeah,
mountain shit beers.
double fisting and Don to do in a Moosehead Pale Ale because peer pressure.
It has a lot of peer pressure going on.
That Don to do is actually really nice. It's a Belgian triple but made with wheat.
I think it's pronounced Don de Dieu.
Don de Dieu? Dieu? A Dieu.
I'm just assuming that. I don't freaking know. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, write down in the comments and I'll totally not read it.
Greg's always wrong. I'm surprised we don't have anybody else. Doing
Nick is the handsomest guy on YouTube.
He's not wrong. So Redbeard's working till midnight. Who else is avoiding us right now? Cave Isaac. Well, this sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone here is who else lives in a big city, so this might be something that I see that other people are not used to. But you know, most of the time when you get off the highway, at most major highway, what do you call them when you get off the highway? Off ramps. There we go. Off ramps. Yeah. You know, once you get to the light while you're waiting to turn left or right or whatever, there's always some guy who claims to be homeless but probably isn't and kind of looks like he's faking a limp in something. Sometimes they have a dog with them or something. And I mean, these guys are like professional beggars. They beg out there and you'd be surprised. Some of them make a lot more. Like, you can get a minimum wage job, make a lot less than these guys do in a day, and they do tax free. That's the thing in big cities, though. I don't know if that's a big thing anywhere else.
No, it happens in St. John too. I see people like on the side of the road with a sign begging for money at like a interchange right by work. And I guess there's a certain degree of you really don't know what these people's lives are, but I've heard stories of like some guy having a 3-bedroom apartment uptown and butt begs.
Oh yeah, they do these news stories where they follow these people down. Like there's some famous lady in Toronto that was begging, and one time somebody followed her home, and she lived in a very nice house and drove a Mercedes. So it's shocking how much money these people make. I work at a fairly wealthy area, and there's you can tell the difference between the actual homeless people there and the professional beggars. I mean, the easy way to tell is that the real homeless people, you can smell them half a block away.
Yeah.
And the professional beggars, they just seem a little bit like maybe dirty, but they don't seem that particularly dirty. Like maybe they just made themselves look a little dirty in the morning.
Yeah, dude, my parents totally kicked me out of their garage last night, dude. I'm totally hard up for cash.
Yeah, but I have literally seen when I'm waiting at a major intersection in Toronto, and there's a dude there that kind of has that corner, and I have literally seen him make more in the time it takes for the light to change than I make in an hour. So I'm like, fuck, I should be begging.
You should beg. Yeah, you should put a little grease paint on your face and fucking go out there with some army fatigues or something like that. Yeah, man, I served in fucking Iraq, man. Dude, fucking Canadian government ain't giving me no fucking compensation. I'm a veteran.
Well, you know what it is, too, is he's got first of all, he's got a really crowded corner where probably every single light change, there's probably 100 people walk by. Mm-hmm. So even if one of those people gives you money, whatever.
Yeah, you're doing good.
He also has a dog with him, and people are like, "Oh, so cute." Some people will just give him money just to pet the dog. So
Did the guy poke like the dog's eye out or like cripple it or something?
no, it's just
Just a regular dog.
It's just a well-trained dog that just sits there. I feel bad for the dog because I mean, it just sits there with them. Like I would like the Humane Society to come and take the dog from him because you know what? The dog has to sit there with them in the cold, has to sit there with them in the heat. Like, yeah, he's got a water bowl for it and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know what? That's no way for the dog to live. Like, if you're using a dog in your little as a prop in your little begging scheme, I'd be more than happy for the Humane Society to come by, take it from you, and put it in a proper home.
What happened to people with monkeys that fucking grind like a music box?
I've never seen that before in Toronto, and
Modern-
that's shocking.
Modern version of that kind of thing, I guess.
And I mean, this is the city where they did an advertising campaign for the movie It, where they had little raincoat kids with balloons on every street corner. Didn't tell anyone about it, so people flipped their shit and started calling the cops.
I wouldn't even call the cops. I'd just like kick that kid down the fucking gutter. Like, fuck you, little kid.
Well, it wasn't even kids though. It was like I think it was like literally mannequins or something. So people, but it was covered in a raincoat that you couldn't see their face, so people were just freaking their shit.
Yeah,
losing their shit.
So I've read It. So I'd be like, hey, this is fiction. By the way, just saying it's fiction. It's not real. So no reason to freak out in the first place, idiots. I'm just gonna go over and kick this mannequin over. And
but a lot of people haven't read it.
Read it.
Well, a lot of people are morons.
I think I read maybe 50 pages of it back when I was much younger, and then I gave up because I was like, I'm a kid. I can't make my way through this.
I can't do 1,000 pages.
Apparently, there's a good underage orgy scene in it that apparently never made its way to the movies.
Yeah, no, it'd be kind of hard to shoot that scene in the movies. It's like prepubescent teenagers fucking having basically a group gangbang.
Wasn't it like basically they can't find their way out of the sewers, and somehow the only way they can find their way out of the sewers, they each have to take turns banging the chick?
They have to do this mystical thing where they're all like together and shit, where they have to basically fuck the one chick in their group. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the story how I tricked
pretty,
someone into losing their virginity too.
That's pretty nasty. How many viewers did we lose over talking about that?
I'll just say in Stephen King's defense, I don't think he's a pedophile or a person who's into preteens having sex. It's just something he thought up for the story. And
the book is a product of its time, and also Stephen King was. First of all, I'm a believer in free speech. I think you can write about anything you want.
Exactly.
Even if it is in bad taste. I mean, it's up to people to decide whether or not they want to read it or not. And the second thing is, A, it was a product of its time where people weren't so sensitive about it. And B, Stephen King was high of his fucking mind on cocaine when he wrote most of these books. So
yeah, the 80s was a bad period for him. It was also a great period for him because he arguably wrote his best stuff during that point where he was just like a cocaine fiend and an alcoholic. So, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently he got hit by a van at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of caused his addiction too, because he was on painkillers and shit.
Well, so, that was
I think that van thing happened well after though.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, was it that recently? Okay, but all I remember hearing is that after he got hit, he went and actually bought the van, and then he took a baseball bat and like beat the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
He destroyed it. I'm like, that's amazing. That's so much anger.
It's like Stephen King, lots of money. I can take my feelings out on physical objects that I buy. It's good.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah, no, fuck it. I mean, if I had the money to do it too, I'd probably do it. I mean, he can't buy the guy who ran him over and beat him to death with a baseball bat. So
not publicly anyway.
What was it that Stephen King had said a long time ago that the things he writes about are the things that scare him?
Mm-hmm.
That would, and I'm wondering if maybe that's like he's just scared of like kid rape or something. That I don't even feel comfortable.
Well, no, I
don't. I think we're all scared of kid rape, Nick.
Yeah, but I don't think that scene is meant to be scary so much as it's is it supposed to be like a coming of age kind of thing for the characters?
Well, that's the thing. He also wrote Stand By Me, and I think there is a certain coming of age theme to it. And I think even though it's
Definitely looks that
uncomfortable, especially in today's society, I think it is especially uncomfortable. But I think, kids tend to start having sex at 14, 15, 16, 17,
That's
which is
the
all
thing. It's-
technically illegal, but it happens.
That's the thing. It's an honest reflection of days gone by. Like, and these modern times where everyone thinks they're so fucking enlightened and woke and shit. It seems pretty horrific, but no, it's actually kind of an honest reflection of children finding adulthood through adversity, kind of thing. Although it's still kind of creepy, but it's not as creepy as everyone makes it out to be.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it all comes down to how you explain it to people.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, if you read the book, it makes perfect sense. So I'll throw that in. But
Now, everyone remember, Rule 34, if it exists, there's porn of it. So everyone go search that and delete your search history when you're done.
search that it porn.
You search it porn on Rule 34, and I have not done so, but I'm willing to bet if somebody does, it's either going to be that scene or it's going to be the clown fucking one of the kids.
Well, I'm highly surprised. I'd be highly surprised if there is not a it porn parody at some point. Like, if it hasn't happened already, it should have happened by now. But
Well, I will say, since we're getting to the Christmas season, I'm going to put a plug in.
Fucks down here.
I'll put the plug in. If you're a fan of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey one, I highly recommend the porn parody. It's surprisingly short, but you know what?
That's what she said.
But you know what? The costumes they use in it are top notch. Like the ladies, the Who ladies, they've got the exact same Who noses and stuff from the movie. And I'm just like, wow, they actually spent a lot of money on props for this. Like, good for them. Like, the Grinch costume looks totally spot on. It's like, if that's your thing, I recommend that porn parody.
Anyway,
who has a thing where they want to fuck the Who's from Whoville?
Yeah, okay. The last comment here is from Eric Gilbert saying, "I have pictures of me at the It House." Just trying to change the topic away from weird porn parodies of shit.
Nice. That's cool. That's cool stuff.
Right.
Why is there no more people here?
I don't know what the fuck is with all those people. It's like we go for a hangout an hour early.
Here we thought
Well,
thought people didn't like Moosehead Pale Ale. It turns out they just don't like Nick.
Well, I'm not surprised considering I got a little cranky there when nobody showed up. Yeah.
But that might be the thing, though. It's like everyone's on like an internal clock schedule. It might actually take like another half hour before people show up.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, people are waiting. Usually, beer analysis ends at around 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
people would be
9 o'clock for those of us in civilization, Nick.
Yeah, like usually we don't see Urt until around now.
Yeah, Urt said he'd be on later. So
yeah.
So
did Ash,
super excited for that.
Ooh, Ash said he'd be on around 10.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's got to sell. He's got to finish selling shoes.
Well, luckily, Ash is married, much like I am. So he'll get home. His wife will ignore him. He'll come join his buddies for beer.
It's like Al Bundy and his wife has like.
That's what I was about to say. Wait, Ash sells shoes. Is that his job?
Yeah.
So he's Al Bundy.
That's why with all Bundy comments.
I believe he's the manager of a sporting goods store that specializes in shoes.
I don't like posting too much about where people work.
Well, I'm not saying where he works. I'm just giving since we say he sells shoes.
I'm not doxing the guy. I'm just saying like he said that before. So yeah.
What I was just gonna say, that's why we get all the Al Bundy comments, and it's like him coming home to his wife is like pegging Al Bundy. He's like, "Did you miss me?" It's like, "Yeah, with every shot so far."
Al, let's have sex. No pig. Oh my god! You know what depresses me the most is like I do every once in a while go and look at like Married with Children on Daily Motion, and all the rips are from like the DVD versions of Married with Children that have like the new music in the end in the opening because they couldn't license.
Oh,
They didn't want to pay.
seriously?
They didn't want to pay for Frank Sinatra or whatever.
It's a huge part of the show. The
Yeah,
theme.
it's like love and marriage, love and marriage.
Copyright strike.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like
exactly.
a golden carriage.
And it's like it's just this like really weak sauce fucking shitty music that kind of sounds like something Frank Sinatra might sing over.
Oh.
and oh my god, it just ruins the show.
It's terrible. Because like the original was, it was just like perfectly placed against the sarcasm of the show. It's like the show is like one of the best sarcastic.
Oh,
shows
I'm
out
just
there.
gonna say like outside of WKRP in Cincinnati, Married with Children is the best sitcom of the modern era.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it is very good.
Mm.
It is very
Well,
good.
I think a lot of people would probably tell you it would be like Cheers or Seinfeld, but I'm not as big a fan of Seinfeld as some people are.
I hate Seinfeld.
I like Cheers,
Oh.
and Frasier was a decent
Lee, I'm going to
spin-off.
pretend I didn't hear that because otherwise I think you're a good person.
I'm okay if you think I'm slightly bad or totally evil because I fucking hate Seinfeld. I can't stand that show.
I think you just haven't seen the light.
I've seen a lot of Seinfeld and I've never liked it. Let's just put it that way.
See, my wife's sister doesn't like the show either, but she's very Polish, and Polish people don't like Jews.
Well, I'm not Polish or
racist.
Jewish, so it's not a thing. I'm just saying, like, I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think Larry David's awesome on that.
See, I
But-
find it funny you'd like one, not the other, because they're kind of similar humor.
I don't find them similar, and
Oh.
I really don't. I feel like Seinfeld is.
Well, wasn't Larry David like a producer of Seinfeld or something?
Well, yeah, he was the producer, writer, and basically George Costanza was based on Larry David.
I just feel like Curb Your Enthusiasm takes that character to the awesomeness that it could have achieved if it was not on NBC.
Well, I mean, I do think there's a certain validity to that, and that there's a raunchiness to Curb Your Enthusiasm and an adultness that doesn't exist in Seinfeld. But
Seinfeld, the biggest problem with Seinfeld for me, and it's not the same with Curb Your Enthusiasm, because Curb Your Enthusiasm has one awful character who's the central character, and everybody else around him is actually good people. Seinfeld, everybody in that fucking show are just horrible people. Like, they're all shit. They're all terrible people.
I mean, you're not wrong, because literally the final episode was based around them going to court and going to prison because they're
Right.
terrible people.
Exactly.
So you're not
What?
wrong on that.
I've never
No.
actually seen the final episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I'm a big fan of Seinfeld. I actually do think it's probably the best sitcom of all time, but I don't think the series finale was all that great.
I heard it was terrible.
So, like, everyone on Seinfeld is just like a horrible, narcissistic piece of shit.
Oh yeah, I mean that part is true,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
And I couldn't get into it because I could not. I just could not fucking connect with anybody in that film and in that fucking show. But with Larry David as the sole narcissistic piece of shit in Curb Your Enthusiasm and the way he interacts with everybody, I love Larry David in that, and I love his interactions with everybody else who is normal and like just like trying to deal with the fact that he's a piece of shit. And that's great, and that's funny, and it works.
and see, the beautiful thing about this is this comes all full circle, because his wife for the first 7 seasons of that show, I don't actually know what the actress's name is, but I find her kind of attractive. And she also played the wife of the mayor in the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. And then there's the porn parody with the actress that looks like her that gets banged by the Grinch. It all comes full circle.
Shit,
Ho, 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 motherfuckers.
I kind of see that now.
My wife is looking up divorce websites right now.
probably.
Yeah, no doubt, but you know,
She's got them bookmarked.
It had it had to happen. It had to happen sometime. Really. I mean,
Really, it
come
doesn't
on.
matter of time. Come on.
Actually,
Ratings on the wall.
I was gonna say I thought
We're
everything,
along with the
I thought
semen
everything
stains.
crashed on me for a second. Actually,
Ratings on the
spoil-
wall along with the semen
Spoil-
stains.
Spoilers for, I guess, sometime next week, but I'm going to be making, apparently, if I haven't been fired yet, I'm going to be making a guest appearance on a certain awesome podcast that will remain nameless. But my wife has been helping me do research on it. We've been watching The Running Man and we've been watching Commando multiple times.
And what did we discover?
Yeah.
What did we discover?
The couple in the bed.
Well, I can't spoil that now. I got to have something to talk about on the podcast. I'm not going to say it now because then Lee will steal it from me. Assuming he
Well,
doesn't already.
I do know who the hot girl is in the couple in the bed.
You probably no. We just had some interesting insight to that, and I'm sure it's probably something you may have noticed in the past too. But I'm just like, I'm not going to tell you just in case you haven't, because I want to at least have something somewhat interesting to talk about.
Yes, Friday, Greg, myself, Daniel, Paul, perhaps, and also our podcasting friend Gary Hill might also show up, and we're going to be talking about Commando and The Running Man.
Ooh, it's going to be a fivesome. That's going to be exciting because those are both excellent movies.
He needed to cool off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember that movie. Yeah, I've seen both of those actually.
Hey, Sully, remember when I told you I'd kill you last? Yeah, you did, Matrix. That's what you said. I lied.
Possibly one of the best. I think.
What
I think
happened
it's
to
hard
him? I let him go.
I think it's hard to argue that like Commando is probably, when it comes to Schwarzenegger lines, probably the best movie. Like I know Terminator has a lot of good ones.
Commando's pretty much what the entire character of McBain was based off of. You know.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
Schwarzenegger, like, Commando has his best lines. Like, it's the exploitation Schwarzenegger movie.
wow.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the trashy exploitation Schwarzenegger movie. Because when you look at it, like, there's a director's cut that I assume kind of like fixes all the mistakes. But if you look at the theatrical version of Commando, there's so many on-camera mistakes where that movie looks like some bullshit Italian production that somehow made it to theaters.
Well, but that's an 80s thing in general, is that a lot of 80s movies are like that. And I'm actually glad we're doing Running Man at the same time, because I feel Running Man in different ways is almost the same way, where it's like this 80s exploitation film with like, which is almost like, you know, if you look at it from like a point of view of like, is this a great film? Maybe not. But then you look at it through the 80s filter. Is this a great 80s film? And you're like, this is practically a perfect 80s film.
Well, that was one of the biggest things about 80s movies that made them so great, is that they were campy at the same time.
Yeah, they were. Like, one of the, many people would argue the best film, or one of the best films from the entire 80s, Empire Strikes Back. I would argue it's an excellent film, probably the best Star Wars film, not a great 80s movie, because it does not have that 80s-ness to it.
Yeah.
And I know it's right at the beginning, it's 1980.
Thing, like when you look at a lot of Arnie's movies back in the 80s, they had that in spades. Like, even to a degree, like the original Terminator was kind of...
The original Terminator is a fucking classic and overrated. I love Terminator 2. I probably think Terminator 2 is probably the better movie, but I think Terminator 1 just does not get the credit it deserves.
Terminator 2 was starting to get into the 90s, where you were starting to get, like, things were becoming a bit more... It's hard to call sci-fi like that realistic. They were trying hard to really make it look real.
Well, I mean, the thing about Terminator 2 is it's, as much as they want to pretend it's a sequel, it's actually a remake.
It is basically, for sure, but
yeah, pretty much it reinvents the entire thing.
Yeah, it's a remake with a better budget. It's got better.
You can watch Terminator 2 without seeing the first, and you wouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah,
it would make sense.
You know the entire story. It totally makes sense. There's nothing there that's obtuse and going to confuse people. And I mean, it's just the slicker production. Like, when you look at the first Terminator, it's still kind of an exploitation movie. Like, it's big budget, but it's kind of still sleazy as fuck. But when you look at Terminator 2,
Ethan,
it's a box off. It's a big box office.
Well, I mean, you know what? I mean, the thing is, I mean, people like to retcon their opinions on it nowadays, but the reality is that Terminator 1 was a low budget horror flick.
Mhm.
That
No,
if
it's a
it was
slasher
never
movie.
if it was never popular, it would be somewhere in the same range as The Burning or like Madman or something, where it
Max.
was
Right.
just
Mad
something
Max.
that people like, a certain group of people like, but never reached critical appeal. It just
Like a
happened that
cult
this movie,
classic kind of thing.
Yeah, but
like,
this movie
like I
did
said, the
reach.
original Mad Max or something. Like when Road Warriors is
Yeah.
the one that really. And even the Road Warrior is still pretty campy when you start getting into the huge budget Hollywood production that the third one was.
Oh yeah, they all kind of. I mean, I think the first. Yeah, and the funny thing is, the third one I thought was not a great movie, but the first two I think are both excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mind the Thunder Beyond Thunderdome, but you're right. It's too full of itself in comparison to the first two. The first two, they were just going out and basically have fun. I mean, the first one, I remember reading something about the first Mad Max is like if you watch like the directors or like the commentary that comes with it, like the original, like the DVD version, where they actually have the making of the movie. Do you remember the scene in the original Mad Max where Mel Gibson's character actually gets his knee blown open?
Mm-hmm.
That was real. That was actually the stunt director's knee getting shot by a shotgun.
No.
I'm not even kidding. They actually say, it's like, wow, that really hurt. I'm like, holy fuck, you actually got shot for that shot?
So they must have they must have shot it with like rock salt or something like that, right? Like,
well, I would imagine, but like, god damn, man,
because it wouldn't be like real shotgun shells full of pellets. It would have been like something.
I'm gonna have to find it now.
Well, the thing is, that movie was like filmed as an Australian exploitation picture, so I mean, it almost
it was only made on like a $100,000 budget, or if that. You know, it's like before Blair Witch, it was like the lowest budget to biggest box office transition.
Yeah, well, it's pretty solid, but I don't know. But like that's the thing about the first Terminator is everyone likes to think it was this big budget movie. Even nowadays, they thought it was this big budget movie. You know, it was James Cameron's big, movie that made him popular. And I mean, yeah, it kind of was, but it really was not it was really more of a surprise hit than anything else. Like like nobody basically thought Schwarzenegger would be good in a role like that. They didn't really even, I don't think, want him in a role like that.
Yeah, and I mean that film also had controversy surrounding because Harlan Ellison sued the fucking movie because it's like, you stole my fucking story.
Oh, was that Terminator?
Yes, Terminator. In Harlan Ellison won in court, by the way.
Oh wow!
Because it's like the story that the Terminator follows is very, very similar to one he wrote for the Outer Limits, I believe, the original Outer Limits fucking series. But it was one of Harlan Ellison's stories that basically got ripped off for the Terminator, as much as James Cameron might want to deny it. And James Cameron's a fucking hack in a lot of ways, by the way. He's a piece of shit. But he's made some really great movies. I'm not going to deny that.
I sort of feel James Cameron and George Lucas have a lot in common because I feel when they were in a position where people had some control over them and could say no to them.
Yes.
I think they made better movies. Now that both of them have unlimited control, you got Star Wars, the prequel trilogy, and then you got Titanic and Avatar, which aren't necessarily awful movies, but they're just not. They just try. It's like they're movies that just try too hard.
Avatar is fucking trash. I'm just gonna say it right now. Avatar is fucking trash. It's Pocahontas.
I mean, it is. I haven't not seen that. Like, I watched it once in the theater. I haven't seen it since then. I always thought it was like okay. Like, I didn't think it was bad. I'm just kind of like, it's almost like James Cameron just has a sign in it saying, hey, look, best movie of all time. This is the best movie of all time. Look, see, best movie of all time. Best. It's kind of like George Lucas with like, hey, look what I can do. Look what I can do. See how in episode 1 there's a big
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, see how there's a big fish? Now I'm going to make a bigger fish. It's going to eat the big fish, and now it's going to chase them again, but now there's an even bigger fish. Because best movie of all time. Also, everyone knew each other when they were kids, and they're all friends, but then they become enemies because it's cool.
Yeah, Darth Vader was a kid, and now he's sad because his mother died.
No, it's like, you know what? It's like I do think James Cameron is a lot better than George Lucas is personally.
Oh no,
But-
James Cameron's a way more talented director than George Lucas ever was.
But I do think that both of them do have some genius behind them. I just think that needs to be tamed
Yes.
and like it needs to be guided. Because I mean, like I've heard, I'm not even the biggest fan of the new Disney movies. I don't think episodes 7 and 8 are necessarily great. I think Rogue One's excellent.
Rogue One's beautiful.
But
Rogue
like
One's
when I hear the story, like George Lucas is like, oh, I don't really like episode 7, 8, and then he's actually gone into detail. He's like, oh, I would have explored the micro metachlorians of the
Yeah,
Force
yeah,
more.
That's why you're
It's
not
like-
fucking doing Star Wars anymore, you asshole.
It's like, okay, well, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the Disney movies, but they definitely are better than that.
Yeah, they're way better than that shit.
Well, that's just it. I mean, when he fleshed out his idea, and nobody was telling him. I think it was the big issue. Is like when he did the prequels, nobody was telling him no.
Yeah.
Pete,
Whereas
you have-
in the first three, there was actually more at stake.
most people have zero idea how afraid people were of George Lucas. Like people would spend months of their lives crafting creatures or storylines and stuff, and then they would just like clench their colons as he would just come in and he'd be like, "No, I don't like this," and he'd like throw away months of work
Yeah.
because he didn't like this, he didn't like that. Like people, like he fucking terrified people. He seems like this big pompous kind of happy teddy bear kind of guy. He's not. He's like a dictator when it comes to like movie making. He wants things exactly the way he does it. And you know what? Whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, he completely paid for episode 1, 2, and 3 himself. So at the end of the day, they're his movies.
Yeah.
But again, we see what he made when he had complete control. And then we look at Star Wars, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and to a lesser extent, Return of the Jedi, because Return of the Jedi, he already had pretty much full control.
Yeah.
But I personally like Return of the Jedi. I know people have problems with it. I think it's
I like
I
Return
love-
of the Jedi,
I love
but
that film.
I think
I
the
think it's
feel of
better
it.
than A New Hope.
I think the feel of Return of the Jedi was getting considerably more cartoony than like Empire Strikes Back. and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
other
no,
ones.
it's more of a marketing film. Like it's like, hey, look at the Ewoks are really cute. Like we can do something with this.
That was a big part of it. The cute.
But I just recently rewatched the entire first trilogy, and Return of the Jedi holds up. Like it's still really good. It
Yeah.
really is really good. Like there's still a degree of George Lucas fuck off on this, where it's like we need to counter him. But when you get to the fucking prequels, this is George Lucas mad crazy.
It gets
Fucking-
a little.
Yeah, it's his like. Then you get to the second film where it's like, here's the trade negotiations with the fucking sentence, and it's like half the film. Yeah,
oh, sweet.
half the film
Yeah.
is it's like trade negotiations. Like, what the fuck am I watching? Nobody cares about what happened before the original Star Wars films. Nobody gives a shit. There's hints to it, and that's what makes the first 3 Star Wars
I
films
think there's
great.
a certain degrees like that. Okay, nobody really cares that it was about trade negotiations. Kind of
No,
thing.
it's
Well, no one
because
really
of the
cares
fucking
how
action.
Darth Vader came to be. Is the thing.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares what happened to why Darth Vader became evil. Nobody cares about the fucking Clone Wars and the trade negotiations and shit. Star Wars, the first trilogy, it's perfect because it sets you up in a universe that's post all this shit, and you can see it from the first 3 films how desperate and sucky the universe is because everything's used, everything's lived in, everything looks dirty. You get the sense of
It just is what it is.
Something really bad happened, and they hint to it, and that's enough. You can go on from that. That's enough. You don't need an
That's a good argument for like why it wasn't necessary. To
See,
make people
well,
fall.
here's
Although
the
I liked episode 3. That's
I will argue it is the best of the 3.
definitely the best.
It's got a lot. It's still got a lot of problems, but it's the one with the most redeeming features by far. Like
Yes.
by far, because the middle one, episode 2, is the worst by far. Episode 1
Oh my
is
god, episode 2 is fucking
episode-
horrible.
Episode 1 has some good parts in it. Frankly, Darth Maul's amazing. It's a shame they wasted him.
Yeah,
And then-
that's
and
true. I mean,
and
but
then-
they brought him back for Solo though, which
They,
is
So, one
well,
was a
they brought
kids
him back,
movie.
But they brought him back. They brought him back in the cartoon series, and he became such a different character. The whole reason he was so good in episode 1 was that he was so mysterious. You knew nothing about him. You just knew he was a badass.
That's true. And then they killed him off too soon.
Yeah, he should have been the villain for that entire trilogy. Like he should have been the
yeah.
pre-Darth.
No, you're right. He
Darth
should have
Vader.
been.
And the way that
At least
been,
up, like at least up until. Go ahead.
Well, no, all I'm gonna say is the way that episode 3 should have either in the middle or ended with, first of all, Count Dooku, fuck off. He should have never been in there.
Yeah, he shouldn't have even been in there.
Darth Maul should have been the guy.
No, I love Christopher Lee, but he shouldn't have been in that.
Yeah, Christopher Lee's amazing, but no, not definitely.
Should have been Darth Maul.
Should have been Darth Maul.
Should have given him a golden gun.
Yeah, sometime during fuck off, Nick. Sometime during episode 3, you know, Darth Vader should have come into the picture. It shouldn't have been right at the end. It should have been like 3/4 of the way through the film. Darth Vader should have come into the picture, and he at some point should have had a battle with Darth Maul of something.
Right.
And he should have and Darth Maul, you know, he should have continued to be badass. And then right at episode 3, it would have just been so amazing for just like Darth Maul just come at him and Darth Vader just completely fucking annihilate him.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Holy fuck, this dude was badass for 2.5 films, and Darth Vader just fucking destroyed him.
Yeah.
No,
you would like, it's like the scene at the end of Rogue One.
Like Rogue One where Darth Vader marches through and just literally just smashes everybody everywhere.
And you get chills when you see that. And just imagine the chills of him just murdering this highly coveted, not coveted, but highly regarded Sith, and just completely annihilate it. And you'd be like,
but at the same time,
I think the worst thing about the prequel trilogies is the fact that the guy who became Darth Vader was such a whiny little fucking brat.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He completely was.
Done without that. And then another thing, I'm going to read one of the comments here. Chris on the 10th, who's not the fucking in here and should be tonight. He was talking about the original trilogy.
If you're commenting, you're not having sex. Get the fuck in here, dude.
Exactly. Or maybe he's texting from the bed because he's watching while she's riding him. Anyway, he says the original trilogy let people use their imagination to figure shit out. Because, your mind fills in the blanks. That's true. And that's how it was when we were kids.
Yeah, I don't need George Lucas to explain every fucking detail to me. I can fill in the blanks, George.
I think the biggest thing was that we were excited to get more Star Wars movies for most of it. And then we got them.
I wasn't even excited about it. Like, honestly, when I first heard that, like, the prequel trilogy was coming out, I was like, I don't need to see this.
No, I was excited as all fuck.
Because I was burnt on it because that was coming from the period where George Lucas went back into the original trilogy and started changing things. Where he was like digitally editing the first 3 movies and changing
the special editions.
You know, like, and you know, Greedo's shot first and all that bullshit. He was doing that shit, and I was like, that soured me on it, like, totally. I was like, why are you doing this? I love those first 3 movies. They're perfect. They're great. They're great fucking movies. I grew up watching them, and now you're changing the context of all of those movies in hopes to build this new prequel trilogy with you. Fuck you. Fuck you. You're destroying everything that I fucking love from those first 3 movies. And at the same time, listen, I can watch the first 3 movies unedited. I can do that anytime and be happy. So I shouldn't complain too much. Like, and anybody who complains too much is like, you don't have to watch the new movies. You really don't. You don't have to watch them. So just shut the fuck up. But
at the end of the day, it's George Lucas's creation, so he can sort of do what he wants. I
think the argument goes that once you put art out into the world, it becomes everybody's fucking property to a certain extent. And if you go to change it, you're really stepping.
It's like it's like Leonardo painting the Mona Lisa, putting it on display. It's been displayed and loved for 10 years, and all of a sudden somebody goes and, oh, I'm gonna touch it up here and touch.
Yeah,
and, like
that kind of thing.
You know,
let's give her some better eyebrows or something. But
and I mean, I'm not gonna
put
shit
a beauty
on people.
spot like Cindy Crawford up here.
I'm not going to shut on people who like the the enhanced versions of the original trilogy and who.
There's some things to like about especially going back and actually cleaning up every single frame in the movie.
But you know what? I don't like the cleaning up of the effects. I actually don't like them at all.
I like some of the extra CG that they add, but I don't like things like the adding Jabba the Hutt in the first movie.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that, like adding more creatures in Mos Eisley. I like the fact that there wasn't much there in the first movie, but then they added shit wherever there was a blank spot. He put something in.
See, they never needed to add anything because the original trilogy, even though the story jumps from different time periods and there's a lot of backstory that's never really covered, it still works. Like that original trilogy. Yeah. Solid fucking works all through. There's a through line through the entire fucking 3 films that totally works, and like the asides, like the Jabba the Hutt and all that stuff, that's just asides, and it works. It builds atmosphere. It builds it builds the world for the entire story, but you don't need every fucking detail of what happened before, like 20 years ago. It's just like, who gives a shit?
Well, it's funny because people did not like the original trilogy for exactly what you're saying. Is no one really cares what happened to Darth Vader or how he became to be. No one cares about how Boba Fett came to be because nobody wants to know. The more you explain a badass, the more. Michael Myers fucking awesome. Rob Zombie explains Michael Myers, not so awesome.
Yeah, that sucked ass.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's funny because Disney didn't learn the lesson from that because Disney decided to make Solo, which I actually think Solo, not a bad movie.
Solo's good.
Probably one of the better Disney movies. I know there's only 4 of them. But again, I saw that movie. I'm like, this was a good movie. But why was this movie ever made? Because why did I ever need to know why Solo became a thing?
Right.
And again, you know what? No matter how close the actor is, he's still not Harrison Ford. And I'm just like, why do I need to see a Han Solo that's not Harrison Ford? Like, what point is it? What point is there? So it's like Disney didn't even learn their lesson on that either. But here's the thing: Rogue One. Again, when I first thought to myself,
Rogue One was like a complete extra story written on the outside of the edge. And
and the first thing is, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, why do I need to know the origin of the Death Star? Why does that make a difference? And they made it so interesting because I think it was actually about an event. It was about this world-changing event, and that.
Yes.
People kind of go back to the original trilogy, like, oh, it was the first Death Star. Who gives a shit? It's the first movie, blah, 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 77. It's like, but this was literally the galaxy life-changing event where this brought on a new breed of war to the galaxy. And to go back and actually explore that is interesting because you're not exploring a character. You're not exploring like a thing. And when you first start that movie, you're like, most likely every one of these characters is going to die.
Yeah, they turned it. They took the let's explain everything that happened up to the fucking Death Star being created. Let's do that. Let's explore that story. Let's do a men on a mission film, a World War II style men on a mission film, and put that into the sci-fi Star Wars context, and it's fucking brilliant. It's one of the best ideas anyone's ever had for the fucking Star Wars series.
Yeah, and it's really, really damn good. And you know what? My only problem, I will always criticize this, is that they had the best scene at the end with Darth Vader. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, but I don't give a shit. The movie's 2 years old at this point. You can freaking pirate it and see it for free if you really want to see it. And it's got the greatest Darth Vader scene. But unfortunately, it's a little bit spoiled because the middle scene has also Darth Vader in it. And at that point, you also see he's kind of cool. He's kind of there. He chokes the guy. It's like he should have never been mentioned in that. First of all, this is never going to happen because fucking Hollywood has to make their money. He should have never been shown in a single trailer. There should have been no clue that Vader was even in the movie.
Exactly.
He should have not been in the entire movie until that one scene where the guy's like, no, don't chase him. Lord Vader will deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
You would have fucking shit your pants in the theater. You would have been so excited. It was already a good scene, even though I knew Vader was going to be in it. But, I mean, just imagine if you actually had that freaking, like just being like, oh, Shit,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, no, yeah. You're going in blind, and you're watching this like sort of adjacent story to the original Star Wars trilogy. You're watching this sort of thing that's building all of this backstory for the first three films, and all of a sudden at the end, Vader shows up and kicks ass, and it's like, yes, holy shit, that's great. But when you're teased throughout the movie that Vader's in this and has interests and things are going on, it I totally agree. It diminishes it
Hey,
to
hey,
us.
guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Vader's gonna be here. And guess what? Guess what? Vader's here. Guess
Yeah,
what? Guess what?
exactly.
Guess what?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, actually, I actually want to bring this up for a second. I meant to bring it up when we were talking about Terminator 2, but we got sidetracked. Here's a really, really interesting thing. Now, my wife is she's not really much of a movie person, so a lot of the big movies that she's seen over the last 10 years since she's been with me, she's seen for the first time. Now, we were talking about Terminator 2, and that movie to me is awesome because that movie is meant to actually have a surprise in it where you're actually meant to be surprised that Schwarzenegger is the good guy.
Yeah.
Now I know in the trailers originally they spoiled it, blah blah blah. So by the time that movie came out in 1991, everyone already knew that.
Right.
But my wife had never seen those trailers, and she had never seen Terminator 2. She'd never seen the first Terminator. So I watched the first Terminator with her, and I watched the second Terminator with her. And when it came to the point where the mall scene where Schwarzenegger actually protected John Connor, my wife was legitimately surprised. My wife was like, "Oh, he's the good guy in this movie." And I'm just like, yes, this is the reaction that people are supposed to have that got spoiled by the marketing. But like this is what, so like to me, I'm like, this is proof that this movie worked in that what it wanted to do. It's just the marketing spoiled it. Cause it's like, and it's like just watching my wife's reaction. I'm just like, yes, this is what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be surprised by it.
That's
Like he's
fucking
supposed
amazing.
to be the good guy.
Like that's amazing. Are we at this point where, you know, guys like you and me who are in our 30s and 40s, are we at this point where people are no longer they have no idea what came before them? Like where they're like honestly surprised again by movies? Like they'll go innocently in at 2018 to Terminator 2 and have no idea what the fuck to expect.
Well, people that don't watch movies, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing: is my wife is very much like now she's very much into mainstream movies. My wife was very much into some more artsy movies, so a lot like most mainstream movies she had not seen. She also grew up in Poland, so she watched different movies than we did.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting. But and again, I don't think very many people would have not at least heard of Terminator 2 or know of it or seen the marketing or something. But
I saw a poster.
You've seen a poster for it?
Yeah, in my cousin's room, but that's it.
Okay, but you never knew what it was about, right?
No.
No. So I mean, that's rare nowadays. And again, it's not even like, hey, the movie came out in 1991. It's been spoiled for me. If you watch the original trailers for that movie, I think everything past the teaser trailer basically spoiled it for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, and nowadays movies are even worse. Nowadays movies basically give away the entire plot. As much as I like the new Halloween movie, basically the entire plot was spoiled by the trailer. Like you basically knew everything that was going to happen in it.
I didn't have a TV.
You didn't? When did you not have a TV?
I didn't have a TV when Terminator came out.
Yeah, I know, but it's.
So how do you see the trailers?
I guess YouTube wasn't a thing back then. I guess you'd have to see the trailers in the theaters back then.
Which we didn't go. I think I only saw one movie in the theater.
What movie did you see in the theater? We're learning about Polish. We're learning about Polishness.
They have theaters in Poland?
Are theaters a big thing in Poland?
No.
No. Now, granted, my wife is also talking about the 1980s or early 90s. So things may have changed. So don't get offended if you're from Poland. Be like, we got 18 theaters now.
There was only one, and I've only gone once.
You'd only ever gone once. What did you see in the theater?
I think I saw Home Alone.
Home Alone, the original?
I think so.
The John Hughes classic?
So she watched movies, but she never saw a trailer for Terminator 2 when she was watching.
No. Well, again, the thing is, it's not the kind of movie she would have watched. And the thing is, her parents My parents were okay with me watching rated R movies at a very young age.
No, right.
Many
But
parents are
I'm
not.
just saying, like, the stuff she watched in theaters in Poland,
That's really
she didn't get a trailer at any time before a movie for Terminator 2.
no sex.
No, well, Corey, you've never seen. Well, here's the thing: is my wife. Maybe she did see a trailer for Terminator 2 at some point and just never paid attention to it. Like it was just one of those
Okay,
things. Like
well, yeah,
it may
okay,
have
that's
just
valid.
not been something she was interested in. Because again, like I've sort of gotten her into a lot of these '80s films and gotten her to have appreciate. Like I said, she watched Commando and The Running Man with me, and she's seen both those movies multiple times with me now. But it's not something
Can
she would have had
you,
an appreciation for before.
Can you just like give my apologies to her?
Lee gives his apologies to you.
Why?
Wait, are you apologizing that she has to watch movies with me? Or, well, hold on.
No, for Commando and The Running Man.
Oh, Commando and Running Man are great movies. Come on.
No, they are, but I mean, I have a feeling she might not have appreciated them as much. So I'm just like, apologies that Greg subjected you to watching these films with him.
I made Greg watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Well, no, that's not horrific at all, because Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a fucking classic.
No, I mean, if I want to get into bad movies, she's made me watch.
It was the first time you'd ever seen it now.
It's true. I've never seen that movie before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of those weird 80s movies that I just never saw.
Holy shit. Holy. And then what did you think, Greg?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
There you go. Sweet.
You said, yes, it was good, but you also said that it was too much, like, what's the term you used, where, like, you just you hurt a person so many times that it's just, too much.
I said by the end of the movie, I almost felt it was a bit torture porny, like where Steve Martin was just getting raked over the coals. I was just like, you know what? I like this movie, but I kind of am just getting a little tired of Steve Martin just getting kicked in the balls over. I could only handle so much. But, I mean, if I want to talk about bad movies that you've made me watch, you made me watch Bad Moms 1 and Part 2.
Oh, shut up.
Those movies
Okay.
Wait, is that the one with the chick from that 70s show? What's her fucking name?
Listen, I'm not saying Bad Moms 1 and 2 were a masterpiece, but it has its place, and it's, there's a purpose for, like, just like what was that movie that you absolutely love, the coming of age movie?
Oh God, this is probably good. What movie are you talking about? The Breakfast Club.
Stand By Me or
Breakfast
Club.
Superbad's fantastic.
Oh, that one.
Superbad is about the same as Bad Moms. Like,
oh no. Superbad is one of the best comedies. Bad Moms is watchable when you've been drinking.
Listen, you tried to make me watch a Western movie.
Lee's a big fan of Westerns, so you're not going to get much sympathy. Which Western movie did I try and make you watch?
I don't know. It was slow. Even you said it was slow.
Well, all Western movies are slow. That's kind of their thing. It was probably one of the Clint Eastwood movies. I don't remember which one.
No, there was nobody I knew in there.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, my wife has specifically banned me from watching any sort of, and I was watching a bunch of Western movies to get myself ready for Red Dead 2. My wife has banned me from making her watch any Western movie.
Wow.
Fun fact, when I first watched Star Wars.
Which Star Wars A New Hope?
I don't know which one it was because I didn't care. Back when I didn't know you. It was. I think it was Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars. I fell asleep.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of sad about this generation. My wife's sister's kids. My wife's sister does not raise them properly. They've never seen. Well, we won't get into that on mic, but they had never seen Star Wars before. None of them had.
But they love Star Wars.
None of them. But they love Star Wars. But all they had ever seen is Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Clone Wars, Star Wars that. So my wife did the right thing, and she bought them the whatever 6-pack of episodes 1 to 6.
Complete saga, yeah.
And the kids apparently couldn't even make it through one movie. They got bored and fell asleep. And I'm just like, holy fucking Christ, ADD. Now I'm gonna say this right here. I'm gonna probably offend some people. I'm gonna say this right here because I don't have kids, so nobody can call the cops on me. If that was my kid, I would beat the fucking shit out of them. I would beat the fucking shit out of them, then force feed them coffee, and not let them go to bed until they watch all 6 movies. No, well, 3 movies. That's not great.
I'd make those children smoke cigarettes, like whole pack.
Yeah, why not? Why the hell not?
It's like they need to learn.
They need to be taught.
Yeah.
Maybe give them a little cocaine just to let them know what it may have been like to watch the movies originally.
Yeah, no, you give them a bit of uppers and you balance it over the cigarettes and shit, like, because you have to keep them high at a certain level. So you give them the cigarettes, you give them a little bit of cocaine here and there. Cigarettes kind of hold them for a while, and a little bit of nicotine kind of sprucing them up. And then, when they're feeling tired, give them a little extra injection of the fucking cocaine. And just, keep those kids watching movies and actually appreciating them instead of being bitches who don't understand and get bored and just, like, cry because, Return to Jedi is too long. Fuck you. Ewoks are going to shove their dicks in your mouth.
Wow, it's amazing that none of us have kids because I think we will all be the best parents ever.
I'd be the best dad because I'd be like, don't fuck around. Just don't fuck around. Like, listen, kid. I know you're a kid. I know you're retarded. I know you need years to actually grow and gain sentience of an adult. But until then, you're a retard, and you need to abide by my laws. And here's the first law: don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch, kid. Don't fuck up.
I guess it's now time for the other exciting announcement of the evening. Me, Lee, Nick, we're actually all starring in the remake of 3 Men and a Baby.
3 Men and a Man Baby. That's where your work comes in.
So who's John Travolta? Who's Tom Selleck? And who was the other guy? I don't remember.
Well, I got the facial hair. I'll be Tom Selleck.
Ted Danson?
It was Ted Danson. All right, okay. So I'll be John Travolta. Why not? It's like
I feel I could be Ted Danson. Why not? Oh, my wife is telling me to fuck off. Okay, so I'm gonna go pee and I'll be back, fellas. I gotta get another beer anyway.
Right on.
Gonna go touch himself, so I'm gonna take a look see if we had any comments.
Well, I always touch myself when I pee. It's just kind of hold my dink.
I mean, everybody touches himself when they pee. It's the kind of thing.
So the only comment we've had since is Eric Gilbert saying, "Holy man boobs, Batman." Not really sure what he's talking about.
I don't know.
Maybe me. I don't know.
I'm not on camera, so he wasn't looking at my man boobs.
Moobs.
My moobs.
Moobs.
But yeah, I will send you a Fuller's Vintage Ale. I bought the last 2 today.
Nice.
Yeah. So
seriously, the last 2 they had at the end of the
the last 2.
Last 2, man.
So
yeah, that'll work perfectly if you can hold out long enough to drink it on December 19th.
I could totally hold on because I've already had it before. It's great. And it's like, okay, this is one I'm not going to sell or anything like that because it honestly doesn't even need that. And it just gives me the opportunity to pay you back for the e-beer mail you sent to me. I'll send that and a couple of other things, by the way, that'll just show up into your package. And you can drink those and get drunk and have fun.
That would be amazeballs, sir.
Yes, and you'll be strucken off my list of people I owe shit to, which is going to be great because I have a long list right now because I've been an invalid.
On my list.
I've been an invalid and a piece of shit for the last couple months. So
well, yeah, you've been an invalid but not by any fault of your own. How's the knee doing anyway?
It's doing very well, sir. I am pretty much at 100% walking again. Like I still have a slight limp, but it feels like in another week or two I'll be back to 100%, just like walking like a normal adult again.
No longer the Walking Dead.
Yeah. I have a physiotherapy follow-up tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So apparently they'll tell me what's going on. I have an MRI in December just to basically, check and make sure nothing's fucked up. And I feel like it's probably going to be a positive thing where it's like nothing's too fucked up. Like I think I might have tore my meniscus, and depending on where you tear your meniscus, it'll either heal or it has a hard time healing because there's not enough blood going to it. Like it depends on what side of the knee it tears. And I kind of feel like I'm probably on the good side of that, where it just kind of heals on its own, and I'll be back to 100%. So,
and there's a certain, like amount of how much the human mind plays into the healing process too. If you believe that's the good side, who knows, it might heal quicker.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I've been improving over the last couple of weeks. Like, I'm now at the point where I can actually squat and stand up.
I can sit down to poop now. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, like, funny thing is, when I first hurt my knee, the first week, it was a fucking chore to sit down on the toilet and stand up. Like, it was embarrassingly hard to do that. I can do that now with ease. Now I can actually squat down, like just a normal anybody who wants to squat down and do something in lower ground. I can do that and stand up now, which is something I could not do 2 weeks ago. So
nice. Well, that sounds like amazing progress, because I mean, you don't know how much you miss it until, like, the basic mobility, until you really, it's like the biggest place you notice it is when you go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no.
You don't know how much of your mobility you use for that kind of thing. Because like when I had surgery done on my wrist back almost going on 2 years ago, and when I had my whole hand immobile for better part of a week, that's my wiping hand. What the fuck? I can't trying to do it the other way. It's just awkward.
Yeah. No. I have been seeing the progress over the last couple of weeks as far as my shit goes. So I'm kind of hoping by the time I enter December, I'll be
as your shit goes.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping by the time I hit December, I'll be back to 100%, and I won't have to worry about this shit. So
yeah. Like, what are you doing in the meantime? Are you like, do you want disability or?
Well, I had 1 week where I could not work, and I submitted myself for workers' comp, and I was approved for that. So I have the workers' comp fucking check covering a couple shifts of mine. And otherwise, I've been working light duties.
Okay, so you're still going to work. You're just taking it easy.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's good of them.
And I mean, at this point, I'm kind of like, I don't even need to do that anymore. But that's not up to me. That's up to the physiotherapist. And I have a follow up tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock to see what they think. And I have a feeling they're going to say, it's like, you're good, because I'm pretty much good at this point. I still have a slight limp, like there's still a little bit of swelling in my knee, but for the most part, I'm almost like 100% back to where I need to be for this. So I'm pretty good at this point.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, that's any progress is good progress.
Yeah. That's good considering.
I
don't know, and it's good considering like the the rest of my family are like almost like bedridden. I'm actually like providing for my family at this point because everybody else in my family is like fucking sick or have some sort of medical problem or
Yeah. Well, I think I heard something. Like, isn't your dad on disability or something?
My dad right now is it started out, it looked like it was just like a typical urinary tract infection, but it sort of stemmed from in a large prostate, and then there's all this other bullshit that went on. And of course, although we have socialized medicine, to get surgery you have to wait a while. So he's got an appointment at the end of January at this point to try to fix his problems, but he's been laid up for 2 months now with urinary tract infection and a hernia that people like the doctor discovered. And although he's got he bought like special underwear to push his hernia in, and
underwear / corset.
Yeah, exactly. But and I mean, my dad's just more pissed off than more anything else, because my dad, even though he's into his late 70s at this point, he's probably one of the more healthy late 70-year-olds you'll see. Like he's kept himself in great shape, and he's just kind of pissed off at this point because he can't do the things he wants to do because of this condition, and he has to wait for his appointment. And I mean, that's one of the realities of healthcare in Canada. Even though, you know,
yeah, at least you're not going into like a debt, and your children or his children aren't going into super debt because of being ill like that. But at the same time, the wait times are nuts, and that's a lot of it to do with the brain drain that the American system puts on the Canadian system because of everybody moves to the States to do that shit.
But like non-fatal conditions, they have to push them back. Like that's all there is to it. And I mean, the sad reality is, yes, the healthcare system in Canada is great, but there's a lot of fucking people who need healthcare, and there's going to be waiting lists. And I mean, any American who sits here and goes, oh, well, fuck you, you socialist cunts. We have healthcare, and if you have the money, you pay for it. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Here's the thing.
My thought is like, it's your fucking screwed up system that's making ours worse.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking okay. So you have a hernia. It's really bad, but it can be it can be treated, and it can wait for surgery, and it puts you on a list. I mean, it's not ideal. It's not ideal. There's too many people in this world. I mean, the socialized healthcare system looks a lot better if like 3 billion people all of a sudden disappeared. Like,
well, there's also a shortage of doctors, and there's also a lot of politicians that will cut. Well, it's one of the first places where they'll do cutbacks is on socialized medical systems.
I was gonna say, are we talking about the plot of the Avengers?
Underfunding Medicare in Canada. So
yeah, but I mean,
it started as a conversation about how Lee's knee was going, then it turned to his dad, and then we're talking.
Yeah, about, but I mean, people criticize like Canada's healthcare, and like you've never been in Canada, so fuck you. Yes, there are long wait lists, but it's not like it's not like someone who has like serious cancer or like a really serious heart condition. They're gonna put them on a fucking wait list for 3 months. That doesn't.
They have more priority.
My dad has cancer, and it's not even really serious cancer. It's very low level prostate cancer. And my dad's also 80, so he's never gonna, like they've said, it's so slow moving. Even if they don't treat it, it's not gonna kill him.
Right.
He'll likely die of natural causes first anyway. But still, he's gotten treatment very quickly for it. Like, it's never been a thing. And the reason they caught it is because he had it about 10 years ago. It went away, and then they checked him for it every 6 months, and they caught it a second time. Like, it's like, you know, if you actually need the treatment, it's actually not like waiting lists are not that bad. Like even for somebody like me, when I had a thing with my ear last year, like I went to go see a specialist. I got to see him within like 2 weeks of my original appointment with a walk-in doctor. So like, you know, the big kind of thing now is there's not enough family doctors,
Right.
which we definitely need more of in Canada. And I do think, yeah, the big thing it becomes the taxing thing because of the way doctors work. If they make more than a certain amount of money in a year, they end up paying so much to the government it's not worth it for them. So therefore, you get certain doctors that'll be like, I'm just taking pretty much November, December off because I don't need to work that time. And that, of course, means they're not available to see their patients. So,
like I was saying before you came back, it's like a brain drain or something on the doctor system because all the doctors that are in it who really want to make money at doing this can't really make a lot of money in Canada because there's so much more money in the States. They go to the States and get a good job, but that's a lot. Like then you get all the slackers that are living up, and that doesn't necessarily mean all the doctors up here are necessarily slackers because they do work a lot, very hard at the same time. But
no,
there are the type to take
I would
2 months
never.
vacation.
I would never shit on any of the doctors.
But there's a shortage of doctors in Canada, and
there's a shortage. There really is, and there's a stress on the doctors who actually have jobs.
True,
in those areas because they have to deal with a lot of shit. Like the hospital system in Nova Scotia is failing rapidly. Like it's really bad. Like there's just it needs more doctors, needs more nurses, and there's not the funding for it. So
yeah. Like I was saying, I mean, that's one place where a lot of, especially when you get conservative governments in power, the first place they'll cut is they want it to be more like the American system, so they promote privatized healthcare and then cut funding for Medicare so that
exactly.
And that's the last thing you should do. Like, and, you know, the sad thing is, I have a friend of mine who was a friend of mine in grade school, high school, university, and he's a doctor now. I don't really talk to him so much anymore, but when he was getting into medical school, he applied to every medical school in Ontario, and his average going out of undergrad was 96%. He only had one medical school that even gave him an interview. Do you know why it was? Is because he wasn't well balanced. He was basically a nerd who just studied and did nothing else. He had no extracurriculars, nothing else. And they said they wanted somebody who was more well balanced than he was. It's like, what the fuck do I give a shit? When this guy's telling me if I'm healthy or not, I want him to know his shit. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck if the dude knows how to kick a soccer ball or catch a football or not.
Well, geez, I want him to know his shit. An internship where you can learn practical experience.
Yeah, like it was just so it just boggled my mind that like somebody of such high caliber. And you know what's funny? When I went into, obviously I'm not in the medical field, but back when I started university or was about to get into university, I wanted to be a veterinarian. And I went to the guidance counselor there of their science area. And I showed them my marks. My marks were never great. They were kind of like B+ range. And they showed them my marks, and they're like, yeah, you're not going to get into veterinary school with those marks, but you could try to apply for medical school. You might actually get in. And I was just like, what the fuck? Because at the time, there was only one medical school, one vet school in Canada. I think there's more than one now. But it was just kind of like, what the fuck? So I'm okay to like treat a dog, but... No, I'm okay to treat a person, but don't let me treat your dog. I'm not good enough for that. Like that's kind of like how Canada is. Canada's kind of weird with this shit. Like, you should have way more people allowed into the medical field. Like they're like, we don't have enough doctors. Here's the thing: a lot of people are qualified to become doctors. Let them get into medical school. You know.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say is that a lot of doctors really have no bedside manner. Like you get a lot of these. Pardon my racism, but you get a lot of Asian people that don't know how to communicate with anyone. So guess what? When they become doctors, yeah, they're incredibly smart, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate with their patients. So maybe you kind of need to have a balance of maybe people that don't even have as high marks, but maybe kind of they can communicate, they have compassion, stuff like that things are good in doctors.
I hate to disagree with you, but that's where playing soccer and extracurricular activity things come in because they're interacting with people.
Well, it does, except my friend had all those things. He just didn't play any extra sports. If you talk to him, he was a very personable guy. And he had great bedside manner.
Here's the thing, it just asks for more integration and bring more diverse people in and talking. I've never had all of my family doctors up to this point have been foreign, and none of them have been obtuse or weird or anything like that. Like I've never had the experience of, oh, they don't sympathize with me because I'm a white dude, and and they're
Oh no, it has nothing to do with you being a white dude. It's just a lot of them, and I've had this experience with not a family doctor, but with walk-in doctors. Some of them just are not good at communicating with you. It's nothing to do whether you're a white dude or Asian or Indian or anything. It just they're shy.
But I mean, it's a at the same time it's a push or pull kind of thing where it's like you have to talk to a doctor. You have to push a doctor. You have to tell them, here's where I am, here's what I feel like, and give me an opinion on it. Like you can't just say, "Oh, I feel sick, doctor," and then you have some guy from India who's only been here for like 3 months and he has no experience talking to North Americans. You have to work with them. You can't just sit there and hope that they're fucking experts and they have every answer, and they can just like everything you say they have an answer for. You can't hope for that. You have to be more a little bit cordial and submissive.
Bedside manner means as much as know-how in the medical industry these days.
I mean,
and you know what? If you don't have that bedside manner, there's still places for you. You can still be a fucking genius. You can do a lot of things. You can be a surgeon. You can be an anesthesiologist. There's like all sorts of things that you can do that'll still make you shit tons of money, and put your brain to good use. But maybe talking to people isn't the thing,
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a general practitioner, talking to people is pretty much the primary thing you have to master, though. And I mean, again, it's just personal experience. I've never run into any of my sort of personal doctors who have been shit, but I'm sure it happens. But
I'm not saying they're shit, but there's definitely some doctors that are clearly better than others.
No, I mean, you're going to run into that through your entire life. I mean, you're going to run into doctors who have more of a personable personality, and then you're going to run into doctors who are like Egon Spangler, and it's all just facts. And you have cancer, and by the way, we might need to throw you into one of our ghost traps and put you in our basement. Kind of thing.
Well, you never know when that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you're probably going to die, so we'll just capture a ghost right now. But,
and then you got doctors like that dude who's the anesthesiologist a few years ago who apparently used to stick his dick in women's mouth when they were out under.
Oh,
because why not?
Yeah, I mean,
it was a real case. I didn't just make that. My wife just looked at me like I made that up. I didn't. There was a real case.
No, it is a real case. Can I confirm for her that's a real case? So she feels good?
Yeah, his name was Dr. Dude Nat or Dude Not or Dude No or something. Something like that.
Oh, mine. That sounds really made up, but at the same time,
yeah, it does sound made up. You're right, but no. Apparently, he's in prison for it right now. Because what's that?
Dr. Doolittle.
I don't think it was Dr. Doolittle. No, he liked animals, but
it wasn't little.
Can you tell your wife she's awesome?
Lee says you're awesome. She says you're awesome too.
Oh,
she doesn't know me.
Get a room.
Well, she'll get to know you when I'm on your podcast on Friday.
Yes.
I'm on Friday.
Well, we're recording at 11 p.m., but the podcast won't be out till next week, like the week after. He has to edit it, make me look good.
Good luck.
That's not one of...
She said good luck.
Yeah. Making it look good's not one of my goals.
He's going to have to edit all the Holocaust jokes.
No, I'm going to be professional, Nick. I'm not going to be burning any small T's on people's lawns.
All right, no. Stop.
It's going to be. There's the potential that that podcast is going to be massive because it might be 5 people on it. It might be you, me, Paul, Dan, and our friend Gary Hill.
Like West Coast me.
Well, I
No.
don't know who Gary Hill is.
Oh,
I don't
different
know who
Dan,
Gary
okay.
Hill is. I mean, I like Daniel Fine. He's okay, but I would actually hope Paul gets on it because I think Paul will have some interesting things to say.
He's supposed to be on. I gave him the links and all that shit. You don't need links for any of those movies.
No, I've got them. I'm gonna watch them again before I go on.
Okay,
But
awesome.
I already watched them a few days ago. We watched them both in one night.
Mhm.
Yeah, so no, we'll be ready to go.
Awesome.
I might be drunk Friday night, but it'll be that much better.
Oh, I mean that's a prerequisite anyway. So I mean, don't even apologize. I mean, it's like that's the thing that has to happen.
That's right.
Or because we're all going to be drinking, we're all going to be drunk. So it's like whatever.
And I'll probably take the opportunity to promote Daniel and I's new show. They must be aroused on site.
I mean, do it. Throw that in there. Make that a thing.
And we'll take a couple shots of Joe, and we're not wearing a uniform because why not? Got to do the old regular things.
Yeah.
So who is it? Who is this Gary Hill fellow? What podcast is he on?
He does Cinema Beef, and he does a couple other ones. He's a really good guy. He's been podcasting for like.
He's not the British guy that you have on your show occasionally.
No,
I think you had last week.
No, he's been on a couple of our fucking shows, but he's not the British guy. No.
Okay.
He's this big bearded guy from America that had the episode we did on the Iron Eagle films. He was on that one.
Iron Eagle, are those the ones with Dolph Lundgren, or am I thinking of something else?
No, those are the ones with Lou Gossett Jr.
For some reason, I think I've seen them, but I'd have to look them up to actually see if I have seen them or not.
They're like Top Gun ripoffs, basically.
Oh no, maybe I'm thinking of American. Wasn't there one with Dolph Lundgren or something that was American Eagle? Or I'll look up the movie. I've obviously got the name wrong, but I'm thinking of some movie. Maybe not even Dolph Lundgren, but somebody who looked like him. I know at this point I'm being incredibly vague.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Okay, Iron Eagle. No, I've definitely not seen Iron Eagle. You know what? Actually, I've never seen Top Gun. I've never seen that movie top to bottom. I was gonna say beginning to end. I've seen parts of it, but I've never actually seen it. My wife is embarrassed by me.
I said, should we watch it?
Yeah, well, we'll watch it. It'll go on our list of movies we should watch.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, but it's I'd say enough of an influential movie that I should at least probably watch it.
No, that's true. I mean, it's a Tony Scott movie, and Tony Scott was a brilliant director who was underrated and died too soon. He killed himself, but I mean, yeah.
Speaking of directors that died too soon, Breakfast Club is a good movie.
Yeah, Breakfast Club's good.
That's a good coming of age movie. So is 16 Candles, even though that nerdy kid kind of rapes that girl, or does she rape him? I can't remember. There's rape. There's definitely rape at the end.
It's the 80s. There's a lot of rape going on.
Yeah. I think the 80s is more lighthearted about it because I think, you know what? I think from the perspective of people writing the 80s movies, I don't think it's that they said rape was okay. I think they kind of just said, let's use it for the purpose of comedy. Nobody's actually going to take this seriously. Nobody's actually going to do it. And nowadays, I think people are like, we better not put this in the movie because somebody might actually do it.
I mean, you look at Weird Science, and it's like,
Weird Science.
Let's focus on the joy of a woman having her clothes ripped off by this supernatural force, and then being nakedly sucked up a chimney, and then thrown out into a swimming pool. I mean, there was no conception of how rapey or misogynistic this was. It was just like, here's the exciting idea of a hot chick having her clothes ripped off and then being sucked up a chimney and thrown into water. That's the
Because
thing.
why not?
Yeah, exactly. And like I'm on board.
Well, that's the thing. Things can be entertaining. Like Revenge of the Nerds is like the whole end of the movie is basically the hero rapes the girl. But at the end of the day, who cares? It's an entertaining movie, and it's not meant to be like a documentary of real life.
No.
You know, and the thing is, you can take a lot of things. Like it's like I always say, like some people that get off on rape fantasy. Like you can get off on rape porn or rape in movies or something like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you endorse it in real life.
Oh,
You know,
no.
It's okay to like a fantasy of something that might be not a good thing in real life, but you enjoy
Well, it might
it
also
because
be like a fantasy of playing dirty and not
yeah.
not actually rape, but like BSDM kind of stuff.
The
Some
whole
people are
the
weird,
whole
you know,
fucking,
twisted.
the whole fucking point is that it's fantasy. It's not real. It's not a reflection of the
There's
person.
also a certain amount of like different movies for different times. We're talking about Revenge of the Nerds. I mean, when was that?
Yeah,
The
I
80s?
mean it's
Oh
not,
yeah, well
it's
into the
not-
80s.
It's not 100% a reflection of a person who actually likes that shit. I mean, it really isn't. You can't like look at a person and goes like, I really like watching these sort of like rape fantasy movies, and it doesn't mean the guys are fucking rapists. It really doesn't. It's not that cut and dry. So, yeah.
I'll even take it one step further and say that I know some women that are into the rape fantasy. None of them want to be raped in real life, but they enjoy the fantasy aspect of it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, rape fantasy is also a legit thing that is fun. Like that's something that people enjoy.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
again,
it's all in context. It's really all in context, and people who fucking take like 1980s movies and judge them to that degree are just kind of grasping for straws, honestly.
they're looking for stuff to get offended by.
Yeah, pretty much.
Looking at the over the comments, we actually have a comment. Actually, we got a couple comments. Whoa, holy shit! We actually have another person joining.
Mr. Sexton
We've
is
been
here.
twisted in the wind with just me,
shit.
Greg, and Lee for the last like 2 hours.
Speaking
Yeah,
of rape fantasies.
Speaking of rape fantasies, how's your wife doing, Ashley?
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
Jesus, Nick! What the fuck?
Sorry, I just like took the words right into Greg's mouth.
Oh my God, Nick! I was.
Holy shit, he left.
We were
That-
joking
that-
about
that was
Ashley. What the? You can't bring his wife into that conversation.
Shit, I thought you were offended
Oh,
for a second there, Ash.
Jesus.
All right, let's try that again. Good evening, miscreants and ne'er-do-wells. How are you tonight?
You didn't
For the
hear.
record,
Did,
for the
did you?
record,
Did
Ashley,
you
none of
actually
that was-
hear? Did you
I
actually
just wanna
hear
say
what
none
I?
of that was said by me.
I
Did you
heard
actually
every
hear-
single word.
Did you hear what I said before you left?
Yes, I heard every single word.
Yes. Why do you think he left, Nick?
It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart.
he jumped in.
I'm not.
jumped
I'll just
into
put it
this.
to you this way. I'm not. I don't even think I've ever seen a picture of your wife. I'm not like having the same kind of fantasies that Greg does. And I just thought it
You
was
met
funny.
his wife.
Why?
Did I?
Nick,
Okay.
Nick,
Dude, you
stop
met his
this.
wife at the beer fest.
Oh, right. Yes,
yeah.
I did. Okay,
Yes, we
yeah.
all met your wife.
Okay.
No, wait,
I'll met his wife.
just stop, Nick. Stop trying to make excuses for the fact you don't want to fuck his wife. Like, stop trying to make weird excuses.
Oh,
let's
God.
not even dwell on this topic.
Right.
Let's just say, Ashley Sexton, welcome to the fucking chat. How are you doing? Let's not even go.
And you better have a few beers to catch up with the rest of us.
Oh,
Hi, Ash. How was work today?
it was fine. I'm doing retail stuff.
Yeah, real
Love
tough.
and marriage.
Love
and
and
marriage.
Comes together like a horse and
My wife says I should be wearing my No Ma'am shirt.
Do you wait? Do you actually have a no man?
Well,
shirt?
okay. Here's the thing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna get it now that I brought a topic.
Oh my god.
But no, I I bought we were doing a Al Bundy and Peg costume a few years ago at for Halloween, and my wife actually made me the shirt because I just bought a white shirt from Walmart, and my wife actually got those like whatever those stencils are that you write on T-shirts, and she actually made me marker. Okay, whatever. Okay, pardon me for using the poor words when I'm drunk, but yeah, so she actually made me the shirt.
Greg,
so I think,
Greg, if you show up with that shirt online,
I'm gonna change into it right now. But since Nick doesn't like me to show my man teats online, I'll go off screen. And I'll be right back.
Greg, wait, Greg.
Oh,
I'm
what shirt
listening.
is he talking about?
I have a question. Do you have a PayPal account?
I'm sorry, do I have which?
Do you have a PayPal account?
I do have a PayPal account.
Okay, so if you show up with the No Man shirt on this chat, I will send you $3 through PayPal.
$3.
Yeah, I'll let him do it just to see if he'll actually pay the money.
Show up with it right now because I've got it on right now.
Yeah,
Jesus.
he's worn it online before. It's from a TV show, so
Well, yeah, I've never seen it before, and give me your PayPal link in a private chat on Facebook, and I will legit send you $3.
Is that the best $3 ever spent?
$3, but this is the front of the shirt. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And
all
here's
right.
No,
organization.
That's awesome.
It says.
Yeah, my wife made it. The shirt's been washed a bunch of times, so it's faded a bit, but here it is.
Yeah, no, you're getting $3.
Well, I'm currently wearing the highly coveted Albino Rhino Sex Fest.
Yes, this is the shirt that your wife destroyed and made better.
Ashley, I'm not sending you money.
Oh man, I needed to eat tomorrow.
Damn it!
Go back on the street corner to buy your nearest exit to the highway.
Greg's gonna eat
Saltine crackers and water for me tomorrow.
Anyway, read the comments. I was going to try reading comments here. Matt Derp says, anybody have a Brute Stout? I had my first one the other day. Ale Architect Brute Imperial Stout from Edmonton. I've heard of Brute IPAs, but I've never heard of a Brute Stout.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never heard of that. I don't know what.
Some wizardry going on there.
That's got to be interesting. I would say, like, it's just like a.
That would be like an ashtray.
Yeah, like
dry.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It'd be
it's like all the sugars out of a stout, and like, yeah, but stouts are better when they're malty. You're like, what?
Dry and roasty ash.
I mean, like, is that like a stout that you just like dump a bunch of like Brute cologne in?
No.
And just like wow, that might be something.
It's stout brewed with a Brute yeast. That's like a champagne yeast.
Champagne yeast.
Yeah, exactly. And you have a little bit of Brute cologne. You sprinkle in.
Give it
it'd be the one that you couldn't take to work because of scent regulations.
Probably, yeah.
Not good for the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you gentlemen drinking, anyways?
I just finished a Bad Apple fucking box cutter IPA, and I have to grab other shit here very soon.
I just finished drinking a Unibrew Blanche de Chamblay.
Oh, wow.
And now I gotta go to this one. Damn.
Madit. Oh, jeez. You're just throwing the alcohol into your face.
Oh, yeah. You know it.
Oh, Blanche de Chamblay.
Galice de Tabernac.
Madit.
Crazy, man, Nick.
Super dry is high alcohol, pretty interesting. That's what Matt Derp says. Eric Gilbert had a comment too. He says there's 5 LCBO stores around me that have at least 5 bottles of Fuller's Vintage Ale. Now you know where they all went. They all went to Ontario.
I just bought one actually, so I'm good.
Save it. We might be doing that for a beer analysis.
That's what I bought it for.
Okay.
Oh boy! So, how was that Moosehead Pale Ale?
We didn't do it.
Well, did you guys actually drink what you had though?
Well, I drank what I had, and it was fine. It's Moosehead Pale Ale. It's not like it's nothing right home though. But we didn't. We only 2 people that showed up for were me and Greg, and we're like, I'm not fucking doing this. Let's save it for another week. I've already got the write-up written. Do it when there's more people around.
So what's next week's beer then?
We are debating doing.
I can't make it anyways, but
We're debating doing this, either this or maybe we'll come back to Moosehead Pale Ale if more people come get the beer. St. Bernardus 12, by the way.
gotcha, yeah. Did I have that in the 6-pack, the mix 6 that it came out?
Yeah, that's in the 6-pack.
That is okay. I enjoyed them all, so
Yeah, it's probably the best thing that they make. They make some good stuff, but that one definitely is the peak.
I do remember it being tasty. Unlike any Flying Monkeys product.
Unlike tasty, unlike Flying Monkeys, because Flying Monkeys is not tasty.
So basically, to our fantastic audience, I was ready to do a beer analysis 101 with Nick, head to head, and Nick was like, "No, Greg, you're not entertaining."
Oh, you have to shit on
Fuck
me
you.
now. I was all thankful that at least you fucking showed up, and then all of a sudden you're throwing me under the bus for calling. I didn't
Oh,
want to do.
Nick, come on! You know I gotta
You-
break your balls, dude. Don't worry.
I know. Break your
I
balls.
like break.
Kick
No,
your
Nick
balls.
is the nicest. What's that? My wife is yelling that we
Aw.
love Nick. We do
Aw,
love
thank
Nick.
you,
He's
Agnes.
a great guy.
At
Nick's
least
great.
somebody loves me.
Well, I will say, and I'm going to say this. Nick did not ask me to say this. I'm going to say this right now. You know what? Those of you who are working Redbeard, Ashley Sexton, hey, you know what? That's your work is your work. But some of you guys, you know what? You could make a little bit more effort to show up on Wednesday night. Like, you know, if you're not doing anything, you know what? Maybe you can fuck the girl on another night. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, I'm just saying, or maybe if you're a certain somebody who claims to have sex 2 or 3 times every single day, maybe you do. Good for you if you do. I don't know. Maybe you can take a night off and join a beer analysis. I'm just throwing it out there. Or
Well, I mean,
all I'm saying is like plan ahead. Like for God's sakes.
well, I
plan
mean,
ahead.
like anybody who's been saying that you can't, like, with the exception of Lee because he has to buy a 12-pack, but can't you buy singles at the beer store?
Hey, look, I get it. Probably wouldn't want to buy a 12-pack of it either. I probably would, but that's just because I'm dumb. But you know what? I mean, it's not that hard to get. Like, it's like, I don't know. Ashley, is this something that you could get if you weren't working tonight? Could you have gotten it?
yeah. I don't know the availability of it in singles. I haven't really looked at that, but to pick up, yeah, you can easily get it at the beer store. I just don't know about singles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had the pale ale, the Paul Ale
Yes.
in a 12-pack recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought 2.
But
I asked
you
for
drank
2.
them all.
Oh yeah, I drank them all.
Well, you can just buy the 12-pack and split it with the Rhino, and there you go. You're only buying
There you
6.
go.
Buying 6, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe we'll do it again. I mean, I've got the history written in, and we might as well do it again at some point.
We will try again. We'll get it done. That's why I'm not drinking my can of pale ale tonight. Although I suppose I could drink and just buy another one, but I don't want to.
Save it and do it in January or something.
Oh fuck, January! I should buy another one in January. Well, they got the gift pack now where for like $12 you get a can of lager, a can of pale ale, and then you get a $6 glass. But I was like, fuck, I don't need more glasses.
Actually, that Steam Whistle has a pack like that. Only they used a Rydell crystal glass.
Yeah, they got like nice glasses in Steam Whistle. I'm just like,
Yeah.
that's not really the kind of glass I want to drink a Steam Whistle out of. But they're nice glasses.
Yeah, they're certainly not the style of glass I would drink a Steam Whistle out of either. So
But I've got 2 Rydell glasses from Sam Adams Utopia because I bought Sam Adams Utopia twice. I'll go through a story quickly because I know some people have heard it. I bought it twice. The first time I bought it, they broke the bottle when they delivered it to me, so I didn't actually get the Sam Adams Utopia, but I still got the free glass. And the
Hey.
second time I bought it, I actually got the beer and I got the glass. So I got 2 Rydell Utopia glasses, which
So
are very nice glasses.
did they replace the first one, or did this give you your money back?
No, they told me they didn't have any more in stock, so they just gave me my money back.
Oh, well,
Yeah, this is that glass pack, isn't it? Get a can of lager and can of the pale ale with the glass.
What? Oh, I thought you were giving me your beer. What the fuck? You're a goddamn beer tease. Yeah, I'll tell you where to stick that finger.
That'd be a cock tease.
Yeah, you can't. No one can see it. Here we go. Here, show everyone the finger. And there's the dog's nose.
Oh,
This is the finger for Greg.
Yeah, the dog's all excited. I gotta go walk the dog in a second. Babe, are you gonna be on the show while I walk the dog?
If they want to watch me work, sure.
No. Here. My wife is gonna take over. I'm not gonna put her on camera, but here I'm gonna give her headphones and she can talk to you idiots while I'm gone
Okay.
walking the dog.
we'll hang out with Agnes for a bit.
I'll be back in 30
Where's my
seconds.
beer?
She's just okay. This is gonna be special edition with Agnes on it. Okay, here we go.
Be on here.
Oh God, hello?
Hi, Agnes. How you doing?
Well, I'm working, so don't disturb me.
I'm sorry.
I actually am working because I worked from home today
Oh,
and because I had major cramps.
Is she at supper tonight?
And yes, she had. And so I, instead of working, was not working. So now I have to work because I had a deadline due today.
we're live. You know that.
What?
We're live. You know that.
Oh, okay.
In case you don't want anything like being said in public or.
I didn't say the company name, so I'm good.
Okay, good. You're good. All right. Nobody knows who really you are other than you're Greg's wife, which
Yep,
is
basically.
really not really great either. But
Yeah, I know.
you're cool. But
Yeah, thanks.
you're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well,
So, how's
when
everybody
they
tonight?
say better half, you're definitely the. We're not we're not too bad. How are you? Well, how are you doing?
Well, I'm working and I'm on my 3rd steam whistle. Is that more than
Nice.
Greg? Babe, how many beers have you had?
I've had 4, plus I'm drinking hard liquor now.
Oh, well, he's had 4, plus he's drinking hard liquor.
Plus my beers were higher ABV than yours.
So apparently he's cooler than me because his beer is higher ABV than mine.
Well, he's still doing pretty well considering
So more of an
hasn't
alcoholic than you are.
he hasn't gone completely obnoxious yet.
That's because he has to walk the dog, which is what he's
Stag-
doing right now. But that means I have to walk the dog tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Staggered the
Trade.
dog.
Yeah, but I have a new leash or a new what's this called, babe?
Collar?
Harness.
Harness.
If you want to actually show people on camera, you have to turn the camera on and turn your camera off.
I have a harness.
I've got a hardness.
Hold on.
Of course, Greg's got the hardness going on.
Of course. How do I turn the camera on?
Just push the camera button.
I think no. There's no camera button.
Right here. Here, now you're on camera.
Anyway, here's
there
the
you go.
harness. Here's the harness.
Nice.
So now Layla's gonna put it on.
Is that for the
Layla.
German Shepherd? Is it or
Yes.
Or is that for the Polish
She
guy?
doesn't fit her properly.
Babe, just put it on.
I was like for a second there, I thought it was like padded body armor or something. Like wow, that's a big
For
dog.
sex.
Dogs need Kevlar vests. Living out in the GTA, man, you go out there and get shot.
This is the most interesting
It's true. He's
beer
like
analysis
somebody's
point
gonna
of
mug
all
him
time.
for his dog. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, he's actually
See, that's
using
pretty
the harness
tight.
now.
Yeah.
Frog
As long as the
squat.
pup likes it. Just such a good doggy.
Look, I can pick her up, lift her. She's...
You pick her up like luggage.
Oh God.
There's a big
Oh, jeez. Did you actually lift the dog?
10-pound dog.
Yeah, he actually kind of did.
I just threw my back out.
Yeah, and he put his back out, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, he's using his right arm. It's his stronger arm.
I have proper glassware.
Oh, there you go.
Are
This is mine.
You are drinking a steam whistle. There we go.
Wow,
I actually am.
Matching the beer to the glass.
nice.
I have to. It's like I have to match.
This fine quality product needs no glass. This just goes straight into
Molson
the.
X.
Oh, yeah, I used to work at Molson. That's cool.
Nice. By the way, Molson X, how regularly, easily available is that up in Ontario?
So much free beer.
This is Welland, man. You could walk down the street and trip over this.
Well, I was just kind of curious because I've got that to do it on a featured beer analysis 101. And I should probably do it soon.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a decent blonde ale. It is what it is. But it certainly doesn't need a glass. So
We might have to do Macuary or something. I don't know.
what is that?
Macro-wary. Because Macrovember didn't work out too well, I think. It's hard to coordinate with people, man.
What do you mean? It's every Wednesday night. Even I know this.
Well, it's every Wednesday night, but we ended up not doing our beer analysis 101 show tonight because only me and Greg had the beer. There was only 2 people showed up.
It's not rocket science.
How does that work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, Ashley was at work. Chad couldn't get the beer. Lee didn't want to buy a 12-pack of them to come in.
Okay.
They decided to
Yeah.
drink some Japanese whiskey, was it?
Japanese whiskey.
Japanese whiskey?
I think that's what he was drinking. I don't know where he disappeared to. He's muted now. I think once a girl came in the chat, he's like, oh.
I think he's.
I thought it was cool.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Well, you are cool. I'm not saying you're not.
But he said
Lee might be shy.
Yeah.
I can't see
probably
Lee being
has,
shy. Come on, this is Lee we're talking about.
Where's Ewart?
I don't know where. Where is Ewart tonight? Ewart Christ.
Jeez. We need some drunken Ewart from Arkansas on here.
Arkansas? Wearing a white robe or something?
We need to get him on just so that we can have him pass out and breathe heavily into the mic.
Isn't that what Greg usually does?
No. Greg's. I can't remember the last time he's passed out on cam.
Really?
Oh, Greg? Yeah, he hasn't passed out in a while. Hey, Rod, how you doing? I see Rod J. Beer Ventures is in the chat. And there's Greg, creepily walking his dog as he's making his way down. And you know what? You know what? As dangerous as the streets might be, it's probably more dangerous when he's on them. Because he's walking a German Shepherd.
Yeah, my German Shepherd,
look at him.
the biggest cowardly dog in the world.
Oh no! What did she do?
What don't you know how to do?
What did she do?
She hasn't done anything. She took a pee so far.
She did have a pee?
Listen, I'll live broadcast if she takes a dump, okay?
No, please don't.
You look like a burglar right now. A beer burglar.
Yeah, a real beer burglar.
No, I'm just a regular fella who's dressing a little bit warm because it's a little bit cold out.
You're just a regular felon dressing up a bit warm?
I'm just a regular non-violent felon. Oh, wow, she's
Felon?
going to take a dump real fast.
Oh, no, okay, you can go ahead. You can head back.
Is she taking
already.
another poop?
Yeah, she's pooping.
Wow.
She had a massive poop with me.
Well, it's how it goes. All right, I'm going to clean this shit up. I'll be back.
That's so
Ew,
nice.
gross.
Poop for you and poop for me.
You poop for you.
That's
and poop
twice
for
in one
me.
day.
It had a dump.
Well,
You have one too.
That poor dog only poops twice a day.
the dog only poops like once every day, every other day.
Oh.
The fact that she's had 2 in one day is very unusual.
Hey, what have you been feeding her?
To be fair, she did have some issues in the last 2 days or so. She actually, I don't know if you know, I got a new rug recently.
Oh. I didn't
And she pooped all over it. Like
Ew.
diarrhea, the whole
know
thing.
that. Oh.
Like on purpose
Yeah.
or on accident?
That's shitty.
She was sick. Haha, pun intended.
Uh-huh.
She
Terrible.
was sick because Greg gave her cartilage and bone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And she's not supposed to have bone, but he's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So then she threw up in my bathroom with the cartilage. and then she threw up in my bathroom. She threw up on her toys that we got her, and in our front closet. So we had to obviously wash everything. So
that's lovely.
Yep.
This is way better than Greg.
What, me talking about poop?
No, just you being on the chat is way better than Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean not offensive?
It has nothing. It has nothing to do with offense. It's just like visually and audibly way better.
Oh, thank you. Well, from a visual perspective, I do have this, good old steam whistle.
Nice jugs of steam whistle there.
That I just
finished.
I mean, honestly, you need to like take the steam whistle out of there and just show your face.
Oh well, thank you. I did just get my hair done,
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm blonde now.
Yeah.
I don't have any left, so there we go.
Blonde like
there you go.
There you go.
I may not have many left after I bleach all my hair either.
Bleach can do that to a scalp.
Yep, it can.
So, hey, Lee, how is that Japanese whiskey you had earlier? I haven't had a chance to watch your video.
It was nice. It's very much a sort of everybody can drink it kind of whiskey.
Gotcha.
It's sort of like orchard fruits, very mild kind of whiskey, but at the same time, it's like pretty goddamn good. It's not my usual kind of thing, but it has that. It's got qualities from all the 3 different distilleries from Japan that make it. So there's a little teeny bit of smokiness in it. So it's like it's got everything you kind of want in a whiskey. Like it's got a little bit of everything going on. And I mean,
going on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the sort of person who wants to mix your whiskeys with anything, that's a perfect whiskey to mix with stuff if you want to do it.
Sort of like that other random spirit you drank from Japan a few weeks ago. It was good.
Knockoff sake or something, or potato sake.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, with the way women are treated in Japan, it's basically it's considered the woman's sake kind of thing, where it's like, oh, it's so easy to drink, even women can drink it, kind of bullshit. But but I mean that stuff has like literally no taste to it almost, and it's something I need to mix with like orange juice or orange juice and champagne or something like that, like make a mimosa out of it or something like that. But
with some mimosa fruit.
Yeah, mimosa fruit. There you go.
I got a mimosa tree. Actually, that's my plan for next year is to have a mimosa garden.
And, grow and sell fresh mimosas at the local market.
Absolutely.
So I feel like right now Agnes needs to level with us and just let us know when she's going to divorce Greg and become an independent woman again.
Too expensive.
Is it really? Is it that? Did you wrap yourself up into so many too expenses with your marriage that you can't do it anymore?
Yeah, basically stuck.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it happens. He's probably stuck with me too.
That's marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Two people stuck together.
It's fucked up as it sounds. You could probably do worse than Greg.
What?
I know. It just sounds messed up when you say it that way. It doesn't sound right.
Greg is a good guy.
Yeah.
He just said it's not true.
See, here's the problem. He heard you say that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, filthy bastard. No man.
The dog had a big poop.
Did dog have a good poop?
Well, I don't know because I couldn't find her poop.
So you left it on the street?
So you left it on the street?
It was a phantom poop?
In the grass where she made it. I don't know where the poop was. I tried to find it with a flashlight. I couldn't find it.
Use your finger.
I mean, if the dog pooped like a ninja, you don't have to worry about paying a fine. So it's like it's all good.
Oh, it was definitely a ninja poop.
Ninja poop.
To blend in with all the leaves on the ground.
I don't know. It might have. Ironically, this is like the second poop today that I couldn't find.
That's the second poop today. You would have had 3 poops.
No. One was Ruby's poop. One I walked the dog at work today. So
You still want to pick them up.
How did the new thing we bought her work?
the harness, it works fine. It's too big for her.
It is too big.
Yeah, we should return it.
Shit.
Don't swear on this show. This is a clean show. This is.
Shut the fuck up, Greg.
Did I get a large?
I think go a size down. Yeah, surprisingly, the extra large doesn't fit the extra large dog.
You just winked at me.
Yeah, it's because the dog's a pervert.
Layla, did you have a good walk?
Is that Awash Kohanya?
Did she, how was it big? Where's it big?
Let's discuss it when I'm not drunk.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
I'll tell you all about where it's not big.
How do you guys manage
Now
to
she-
dunk in like 2 hours? Like, how much?
Yeah,
did
it's
you
like
fit?
now she has to figure out the time. It's like, when is he not going to be drunk? Oh god.
What was the question, Mr. Sexton?
Well, we didn't spend the first hour having just one beer tonight. We had several in the first.
It's like you asked how me and Redbeard got so drunk. It's like, because we were fucking shotgunning Bring Out Your Dead.
Yeah, that's probably not a good plan.
So I just want to show you nothing but the highest quality things for my wife. Look, she has a fashion watch band.
This is
Ooh,
for my
high
Fitbit
fashion.
that you're getting me for Christmas.
How do
Okay.
you
Couture.
I
So
don't know the Fitbit doesn't come with a watch band on its own.
There, because I know, and therefore I bought myself a nice fancy.
which Fitbit is that going to be for? Because I have the Charge 2 or whatever it is.
We're getting the Alta HR.
Okay, because I need to get a new wristband for this thing because this thing smells like death. Like the wristband, I've had it for I don't know, like 9 months, and yeah, this thing smells like a big sweaty cast.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's plastic
Ooh.
sweating into it. Also, I just realized this is the size small, which is not going to fit me. Shit.
I met you in real life, Ashley. Have you ever used your Fitbit before?
I use it every day. I wear it every day, man.
For what?
I use it for tracking my steps. I use it for tracking my water consumption.
Your
And-
sleep?
Oh, okay, so you don't
Yeah,
actually work out.
What?
You don't actually work out then.
No, I don't work out.
Okay.
It's not about working out, it's about moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what people who don't work out say.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure it would. I do get a lot of active minutes just because of my job. So
I'm in no real place to judge because I'm kind of fat. I do work out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. Your
Sad.
latest videos for Redbeard don't look like you've worked out all that much lately.
Yeah, I've been a little out of the gym lately. I
like
know,
to,
hey, in those videos,
Although at the same time, I will say you've made great strides over the last couple of years.
I have. I've lost weight, although I've lost muscle in the last little bit because I took a little break from the gym to A, play Red Dead Redemption, B, recover from injuries, in whatever order that priority was.
Recover from breweries?
Yeah, basically. So I've managed to keep the weight off, but I need to gain some. I need to pick up some of my muscle.
You need to get some fucking shoulders on you, son. Get some fucking like get shoulders so big you can't move your arms properly. It'll be good stuff.
Yeah. I
Be
got
like
a massage
Arnold.
today. The masseuse told me that I have a very developed pectoral muscle, and I need to do more
Oh.
stretches for my back to balance out my back because I tend to kind of.
Did you ask the masseuse if you could massage her pectoral muscles?
or his.
She's a Russian Amazon who I don't know if she's straight or lesbian, but
Should
either way,
just straight up kill you.
she would just crack my dick in half.
Hey, get some Bridget Nielsen fucking vibes going on there. It's like, yeah, hey, Red Sonja, I'm gonna touch your boobs.
Yeah, it's like wake up in the morning, take a shower, brush your teeth, wrestle a bear.
Yeah.
But you know, she's very she's better than the other. There's another Russian masseuse I get there when she's not available, and he's a small Russian man who, again, may or may not be straight. We don't know this, but every time he massages me, he manages to like rest his balls on the back of my head. So I'm like,
and he
I
grabs.
really should answer your question right there.
Just like
I'm lying down with my face down. Like, yeah, his balls are there. Like, I can tell his balls are there. I'm just like, dude, like, I know you got to reach over me, but I don't need this. Like, I really don't.
Then he grabs your dick and whispers in your ear.
Wow, I'm actually.
I will break you.
Well, he's never grabbed my dick, although maybe he wants to. I don't know. But
I'm actually really surprised that Greg is opening up and showing us that he's like a little uncomfortable with something like that because.
I'm not even like uncomfortable with it. I'm just like I prefer it not happen. Like when my dental hygienist cleans my teeth, she often has to lean over me and put her boobs on my like chin or something. I'm just like, I'm okay with this.
How do you feel about this ball in your head?
It doesn't bother me whatsoever. Because it's the cat's ball.
If it's two balls and they're warm, then he's got a problem with it.
Hey, you guys saw the picture. I dealt with some really big balls today, so I'm a man.
You did.
Yeah,
I'm
what was
a
up with
man
that?
that's willing to go.
Yeah, what's with those big balls of yours anyway?
Well, we're having an office party, and yes,
Are those beanbag chairs? Is that what that is?
Two balls.
This is what happens when I give my wife too much alcohol.
Yeah, Ferrero Rocher.
No, I'm talking with the big balls in your pictures. Are those like beanbag chairs or?
What those actually are is those are yes, we have a lot of Ferrero Rocher. We're blessed.
See, there's the balls that Greg's talking about.
Those are actually lights. They're plastic lights, giant plastic lights. And what the big boss of our law firm wants to do is she wants to put them. We're having our holiday party at our law firm soon. She wants to have there's 4 big ones and 2 small ones. She wants to basically have them lining the front entrance of our building, and they're actually going to be there permanently. They're going to get wired in by an electrician, dug underground. They're going to be costing a shit ton of money. Now, unfortunately, in our area, I'm making a bet that they are either going to be stolen or vandalized very quickly. So,
yeah, they're.
Unfortunately, our boss is going to spend a shit ton of money on something that probably isn't going to last very long.
People are going to fuck and jack off on those things.
And,
I mean, it's going to happen.
Yes.
Am I wrong? Like, that's going to happen.
Big orange balls in a foyer of a building, gotta jack off on those.
I mean, it's like, look at this beanbag ball or whatever the fuck it is. It's like, that's going to be hella comfortable to fuck on, and then I'm going to jack off on it at the same time. It's going to have a crusty white frosting coating, and that's going to really embarrass your business. I'm kind of afraid.
Whether the perverts or the vandals are going to get to it first, because I kind of think the vandals are going to get to it first, where they're just going to smash the shit out of it.
Yeah.
In our area, and there's a lot of theft. I don't know if anyone's going to want to steal it.
Okay, why would there be a lot of theft at a freaking law firm?
Well, we're in a trendy area, and
because they're lawyers and they're all thieves.
They're all thieves. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of thieves. Yeah. Plus, you do get the people that are pissed off at us for one reason or another. Some people are just pissed off at us, even though we've had no actual dealings with them. They just don't like us. They see our commercials and they get upset. So.
Oh, you
1-800-GREG. Yeah, 1-800-GREG. Look at that fucker. Fuck that guy.
I'm not actually on the commercials, but that would be amazing if I was, though. If I was, I'd be in a wheelchair or something. It'd be amazing.
No, Greg would be in those fucking pick up the phone commercials. Pick up the phone. We're alone.
My wife is looking at me like I'm crazy, but actually, and I won't. You guys don't. Some may know the name of my law firm. I won't share it online.
Yeah.
But I can actually share videos of the guy who's like sort of my supervisor. He's been in commercials many years ago where he was in a wheelchair with his son. He's not actually in a wheelchair. They just had him in a wheelchair.
That's awesome.
He can walk relatively okay, but it was like, hey, we need someone in a wheelchair. He volunteered for it, so
What a fucking worker. God damn.
Everything you see on TV and
yeah.
and
It turns
the
out
internet
not
is
everyone that's
true.
crippled on TV is actually crippled in real life.
What?
Sweet. Major respect there. That's a fucking worker right there.
I want that Ferrero Rocher, man.
Well, it's
This
you can have it in a few hours now.
That's all fucking kayfabe. That's great stuff.
I finished it a while ago, but I had like a Fiero, the white chocolate one.
Oh, the white one. Yeah.
Actually, if you send me your address, I will send you the poop that comes out from this.
Sweet, man.
The Fiero.
So has anyone taken like one of those fucking orange chocolate? What is that like the same
Terry's
thing?
chocolate.
Terry's
Ferrero
trying to
Rocher?
like whack your chocolate.
And yeah, has anyone ever like actually taken one of those things and like smashed it into the fucking table or floor or whatever and like broke it open?
Yeah, it breaks apart, man.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It's like magic.
Interesting.
It's like a
Yeah,
magic.
literally, it's all bonded together at one point at the bottom of the chocolate orange. You smack it on the table, cracks it all open. So you can actually literally pull it out of slices.
Oh man, for all these years I thought it was a lie.
No. That is one thing that you were not being lied about.
Oh man, I can reevaluate my entire life now because there's one truth. There's one truth I can stick to. Nothing's a lie anymore. There's one truth.
Hang your head on that one.
As long as I can take like one of those orange chocolates and smash it on the ground and have it open up and be perfect, then the universe makes sense now. I'm happy.
Nick would make up.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to mail you one of those now. Like, I need to experience that.
I can, at this point now I can. Nothing matters anymore. Like that's a truth, and that has defined reality for me. At this point, like I can tongue kiss a midget or have a holiday on Mars. Like I can do anything.
All day.
Hey, fair time. Be right back.
Yeah, a little weird.
I just watched Matt Damon on Mars and The Martian again because I love that movie, and I could survive. I could survive on that fucking planet. I could do it. As long as you
by growing poop out of or potatoes out of your poop and eating French fries.
You have no idea how much you have no idea how much I shit. I could shit all over the place, and as much as I have. Like as long as I have a lot of fucking plastic where I can seal up shit with it with duct tape, I could do that. I could seal shit up and just shit on fucking soil and make it grow into potatoes. I could live with that. I'd be an Irish man. I'd eating potatoes all the time. That would be my Irish side of my personality. I would be happy with it because the Irish are dirty fucking savages who don't deserve life. But I would still do it.
What, eat potatoes with no ketchup? You fucking bad man.
I mean, I wouldn't use ketchup in the first place because ketchup is for fucking savages who don't know real spices or sauces.
You wouldn't have the spices or sauces if you can grow them on Mars. You'd run out after a while.
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't even fucking kowtow to having fucking ketchup on my shit, even if I was on Mars, because fuck that shit. I'm not gonna fucking cross that barrier. Ketchup is just gonna it's gonna sit on the shelf and grow old on Mars as far as I'm concerned. I'm just gonna eat fucking potatoes fucking straight up because fuck you. I don't want ketchup.
That's a strong feelings on ketchup.
I hate ketchup. It's bullshit.
Yeah, well, hang on. I'm trying to charge it, honey. My wife doesn't want to hear this anymore because she likes ketchup. So.
Well, your wife's a fairly rational person, and I understand if she wants to disappear from this conversation.
I don't know. She's also married me, so how rational can she be?
Well, I mean, everyone understood that she was annoyed by you from the fucking beginning. It's not like it's a big fucking mystery or anything. It's not like we don't need Agatha Christie or fucking Angela Lansbury to show up and fucking tell us what's going on. We know it already. There's been no murders, but the conspiracy, the mystery is not even something we need to ponder. Am I wrong?
My wife drinks too much.
No, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
I mean, I know that. That's good stuff.
Am I wrong? Yeah. No,
Am I
Walter.
wrong?
Walter, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
No, Walter, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole. Well, okay then.
You're being very undude here.
You're being very undude.
You're allowed to be an asshole when you have a podcast as successful as Lee. You're a celebrity at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm a big.
Yeah, I have trouble having probably people even show up for my live casts here.
For your what in the who now?
For
What?
my
You offended-
live podcasts or thing.
I mean,
webcasts.
To be fair, fucking Moosehead Pale Ale, I've never seen that in singles. So it's a commitment. It's like, do you need to buy a fucking 12-pack? No, I don't really.
I don't know what's in singles there in Nova Scotia, but at the same time, I thought it was in singles in Ontario just now.
It is
Is
the
it?
singles. I have a
Yeah.
single.
So what the fuck's everybody's up there's problem?
Well, I have a question. Lee, do you have anything in your fridge right now that is a pale ale?
No,
Oh, shit. Do you have anything in your fridge that's a Moosehead?
no.
Oh, fuck. I was thought we could maybe do a makeshift review right now. I'm sure Ashley Sexton can get something. We'll do Nick. We'll just do the beer analysis one right now. It'll be amazing.
Yeah, I gotta log off here soon.
No, you don't. Stop lying.
Whoa.
You guys
That's
are
good.
okay. I think my wife offended Nick. I think that's why he's leaving.
No. Oh, it's because it's midnight and I gotta be up at 8 a.m.
Oh, come on, Nick.
Yeah, that's like a solid 8 hours of sleep. Are you kidding me, man? I
Yeah,
live on
in order to get 8 hours of sleep, I have to go right now. That's the problem.
Who the hell gets 8 hours of sleep?
Ooh.
6 hours and you're laughing.
Yes, super bullshit. I gotta be up for fucking 11 p.m. I have to do a fucking physiotherapy fucking follow
11,
up.
say 11 p.m.
Did you say you gotta be up for 11?
Oh, no,
Yeah,
AM.
fucking 20,
Wow.
23 fucking hours of sleep.
Dude,
With
that's-
how much do you need?
Yeah, that's what I need. No,
I'm
that's
exhausted.
that's how drunk I am. That where I just said that shit. It's AM.
Hey, when
But,
I'm
yeah.
sober, I sometimes get.
You know,
AM.
drunk how realize I am.
Exactly. Yes.
I drink, I'm thunk.
I think you fucking.
I drunk, therefore I am.
I have this. So I went to the LCBO and I was like, okay, I want some like IPAs, just like one or two. And I was like looking for Ransack. I couldn't find it.
You're
Where
looking
it
for
normally
stats.
is. Yeah, Ransack the Universe, because it's usually on a fucking shelf. And I've been
It's-
Wow,
avoiding
he's
it.
on a first name basis with it.
It's
So I've been avoiding it on the shelf because it's like old cans. So I can't find it anywhere. I turn around and there it is in the fridge. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, awesome. They got fresh cans. Otherwise, why would they put it in the fridge? If it wasn't a fresh batch, I fucking grab the first one I see, I turn it over. August. I'm like, fuck that shit. And I see that there's a flat, like, or a case behind it. So I jump up and I reach and I pull out one of the cans and I look at it and it says June on it. I'm like,
gross.
what the fuck? Like,
Oh,
this place is like 20 kilometers down the road. How can they be selling like 6-month-old IPA? Like, yeah,
What was this, the LCBO?
the LCBO. And then Nickelbrook, which usually has a really good representation of stuff at the LCBO, their what's their IPA called?
Headstock.
Headstock.
Yeah.
Same deal. This stuff was like brewed or bottled in August and September. It's like, really? Only November, man. You should be able to pump that stuff out pretty fresh. So, anyways, I found Sinister Minister from Brimstone. This one was released. This was November 9th, so that's 3 weeks old. That's pretty good. But
Have a good night, Eric.
See you later, motherfucker.
good night. Enjoy your flying monkeys. And
I'll be right back.
wow, this is like a fucking snow globe. There's so much shit in here. Oh my god, you can start seeing it settle at the bottom. There's so much shit in this.
I like me a Sinister Minister.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's good.
yeah.
It's like a throwback, eh? Like, look at the color on this. It's like that's like a caramel malt. Like,
What's it supposed to be again?
It's like a West Coast IPA.
Okay. Could you show the can again? Like, is there?
Oh,
Okay.
What do they say? Sinister Minister IPAs are unfiltered and aggressively hopped IPA, vibrant and perfectly balanced, pouring a rustic orange color with an exclusive malty backbone. We dry hop the finish, intensifying the dynamic citrus, floral, and stone fruit notes with hints of resinous pine.
Hmm.
Well, then, yeah,
Thank you. Interesting.
it's all right. It's a good local IPA. Yeah.
As soon as I heard Sinister Minister, I just thought of one of my favorite fucking wrestling managers.
Who's that?
James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister, and he's also known as a couple other different fucking names over the years, but he basically played Satan as a fucking manager.
Okay.
Lee, have you ever heard of Ego Wrestling? It's like an independent wrestling thing, which is sort of similar to WWE, but obviously like super low budget.
I've never heard of that. No.
Okay, well, not that it's particularly that interesting, but there's a somewhat well-known video game kind of critic. His name's Jim Sterling, and he's got.
I love Jim Sterling.
Well, have you seen his Stardust things where he's actually gotten into that? Yeah, he's actually gotten into that, and it's like his thing. I don't know if he's getting paid for it or not, but he does the Stardust thing where he's like a manager / heel.
Is that the federation that he's in? That
yeah, it's called like Pro Ego or something. Along those lines. Yeah, it's super low budget, but it's kind of interesting to watch, and it's like he's breaking into the career. It's like, you know, not that he's making really any money on it, but it's just it's really interesting to watch.
But he's Stardust.
And he's now part of, like, he's created the constellation with all the various no good nicks that are part of it with him.
Like not Stardust, but Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And this dude's like a short fella. It's like 350 pounds. So he's just a fat guy in tights. In tights, basically.
Fuck, I was thinking of Gold Dust. Sorry.
Well, it's kind of the same concept where it's like he basically has one giant spandex outfit.
Yes.
But he's a really fat guy, so he looks really fat.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, Jim Sterling's fucking brilliant. He's great.
Yeah, he does some good, really good video game commentary.
I like his stuff. It's like no bullshit. It's just like, fuck this shit. Basically, like he calls people out on their shit. He doesn't fucking kowtow to, oh, Fallout 76 is all right. I can play it half the time. No, he doesn't fucking kowtow to that. She's like, this game is bullshit.
Yeah, no, he's ripped that game apart, and quite frankly, and I'm a huge Fallout fan. That game doesn't look that good. Oh no, we lost Lee.
Bye, Lee. He probably just accidentally.
Now it's literally just me and Ashley. This is getting awkward.
Hello. Hey, speaking of Red Dead, because I know that's where you're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the South Park episode about Red Dead Redemption?
I have not, and I want to watch it. I gotta download.
Oh my god, you gotta watch it. It is the fucking funniest thing ever.
I've heard really good things, but I gotta watch it.
The problem is that the last two times I've watched
Lee's
it,
back.
Lee, I was just asking Greg if he had watched the South Park episode about Red Dead Redemption. Have you seen it? Probably can't hear us yet.
He's probably not all there yet.
Probably not there yet.
I dropped off for some reason. I don't know what.
Hey, Lee, have you watched the South Park episode about Red Dead Redemption that just came out?
I haven't watched South Park in a couple of years, so no.
Oh god, it's so funny.
No, I want to watch. I want to catch up on the last season because I actually am, as of last season, up to date on South Park, but I just haven't seen the new season yet.
I have to rewatch it again, but probably sober, because the last two times I've watched it, I've been under the influence, so I probably haven't enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was the funniest thing, but there's probably more to it than what I've
Well, that's often a show, though. I actually feel that being under the influence of something enhances that.
Yeah, and maybe it's just funnier because I was like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched South Park in years.
South Park's so good, man.
For fuck's sake, I don't know if anyone can read this, but I'll read it to you. Mom who left placenta in Mississauga Park says investigation was biggest misunderstanding.
Did she leave it there to come back and eat it later or something?
I don't know. All I know is that the police were investigating. I haven't kept up. I think my wife knows more about this than I do. But apparently police were investigating because there were signs of birth. Like there was a bunch of blood and forceps in a Mississauga Park. So I suspect this is probably from that investigation. I haven't bothered to read. Oh, my wife's going to explain it to us.
She said she went back to get rid of the placenta and put it in with nature. So she went back to the park and dumped it.
So she dumped her placenta. Why? Did she give birth in the park?
No, I don't know.
Where did she give birth? Because doctors don't just give you the placenta.
Where did she give birth?
I don't know.
And Ashley Sexton, who's a veteran of childbirth, says doctors don't just give you the placenta.
A veteran of childbirth.
I've been there.
Yeah, I am also a veteran of childbirth, by the way.
They do if you ask for it, because some people will eat the placenta.
I know some people eat the placenta. That's kind of weird. Ashley, you didn't eat your kid's placenta, did you?
No.
Because that's real fucking gross. If you did,
there's like stem cells and all that stuff that save and all that.
You were denying yourself superpowers, sir. Like you literally could have been Superman after the end of like.
Listen, I know there's all sorts of good nutrients on there, but let me make it very clear that I've eaten out a girl's asshole before. In fact, multiple, and I would still judge you for eating a placenta because I think that's fucking disgusting.
How many stem cells are you getting out of a girl's asshole?
Probably little to none.
Yeah, little to none. You fucking chew on a placenta, you're fucking made, dude. Like cancer. Don't forget it. No cancer.
So chew on it. Is it like bubble gum now that you chew on it? You do like a placenta bubble, and then you.
I mean, it's one of those things where you chew on the gum long enough where you finally devour it because you just forgot about it. Like, man, chew on a placenta. Cures cancer, fucking makes you more of an alpha male. And I mean, at the end of the day, your kids are going to look up to you more because they're like, wow, Dad, you ate month's placenta? I want to be like you at some point. And they're going to eat their girlfriend's fucking placenta in 20 years. And it's going to be great. It's a cycle that it never ends.
It's some extra flavor for that extra long flight.
Exactly.
Extra flavor. When you do it extra, you do that flavor with an extra placenta gum. Yeah.
Yeah, you snap into a Slim Jim. It's good stuff.
Juicy placenta is gonna move ya.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Feels like too, yeah.
You got like two really attractive twins telling you that it's a good thing that you chew on placenta. It's good stuff.
What's better than one placenta? Would you like to eat both sisters' placentas?
Exactly. You put them on a plate. It's like I need a double course.
Dose placenta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of things that gross me out, and I find that kind of gross. Speaking of eating placenta and gross things, hey, it's Yui, baby Yui.
Oh, now that Yui's showing, we can go off. Now that Eward's here, we can go offline. Thank you for watching Maxwell Stars, whatever this is.
Chris Peters killed those women.
Nick fucking hates little T's. He burns them on people's lawns.
No. Hey, shut the fuck up, Greg.
Murdered those women. He's a vile person.